Hello and welcome to Technically Content. I'm Rob, and that is Sihl. I'm pretty sure on my left. I'm not sure where that is.
Whatever direction it is. I'm Sihl, and that's Rob, and this is Technically Content.
Awesome. This is the show where we get together in the summer normally. Actually, wait a second. It's every year. And, you know, it's actually pretty much technically the only content that shows up on this channel during the summer.
And I'm Sihl.
Welcome to Technically Content. So, as you can see that we're not live in the bar as we've done in past years due to all the stuff that's going on right now, which is actually kind of cool because I'm standing on the bridge of a Star Destroyer, much as Sihl used to do on some old productions, being in a different place every week.
Oh yeah, that was a morning show joke. I remember that. I'm in my room.
Yeah, so there's only two of us right here right now, but we do have some more people joining us with pretty much the way that it's gone every year. We've added more people to the cast every year, and the same is true this year. So Sihl, do you wanna go over who's all joining us today?
Nah.
No? All right.
Yeah, all right. So returning from last year, we have Alex, if you want to jump on. Hey,
Hello.
Alex.
Hi.
Hi. Oh, now it's asymmetrical again. I hate it. From our Final Fantasy guild, we also have Kenny.
What's up, people?
Do you have trouble finding the button to turn on your camera, or
A little bit.
That's okay. It happens to everybody.
Maybe the next person will have an easier job turning on their camera. Let's go ahead and throw on T.
Hello.
Long-time listeners, first-time callers. What's up?
If you
T is the
recognize my
host.
voice, yes, I am
Yes.
the host of the Sokan Community podcast, so you will likely know my voice from there, if not my face. I do have a face.
Yeah. Now you have a face. It's never
Now
been
I
seen
have a
before.
face.
Now it's been seen.
It used to be
And
a
then-
blue Twi'lek.
Tailhead.
Am
The
I
illusion
not?
has been ruined.
All right. And then we also got Vooky from Knights of Sokan.
Hello.
There he is. What's up, man?
This is technically content, right?
Yeah, this is
technically.
technically content. Yeah.
All right. So the cast has grown from 4 people to 6 people from
Direction,
in the
yes.
past year. Yes. Had to figure out which way that's supposed to go. But we do have some topics lined up, which I have not researched at all. So this is going to be a great time for me.
Zero preparation. That's how we do things.
Pretty much.
Isn't
Like,
that the only way to do things?
The great thing is that unlike previous years, since we're all at home and staring at our computers, we can use Google to find out facts if we need to.
oh,
And
Google
because-
is
We
such
could
a-
have.
100%.
And
It's
because
bold
I'm
of you to
wearing
assume we-
glasses, if
it's
I
bold
do
of you
it,
to
you'll
assume
be
we
able to
didn't
see
already
it.
do it.
Well, yeah, didn't last year you guys just
Yeah.
had your phones under the table and were just like, what is this movie right now?
Under the table.
we
I had my
like-
laptop
yeah,
on the
they had-
table.
In the past 2 videocasts, we had laptops set up for the sole reason of making sure that we could get like little
A fact
tidbits of
check.
information.
Yeah,
a little fact
and then we
I don't-
didn't
I don't
do
know
it,
what you
so-
mean. There was just audio
Yeah.
wave files on my computer, so
Mine was the fact checker. I just didn't do it because I'm lazy.
all right.
Also,
but we
I-
do have some new stuff to talk about within the Sokan community, starting
Sure
off
do.
just in general. There's some new guilds, which some I haven't even seen like at all since I've been working my ass off for the past couple of months. So does someone want to explain a couple of the new guilds that have been added since the last video cast? Technically,
Kenny, maybe you should do it since one of them is yours.
Ooh, I see. All right. So one of the new guilds is a reboot of the Final Fantasy guild, now named the Dark Ascendants. Basically, this is the first evil guild that we're creating in Final Fantasy. It's based around the whole story of the Ascians, who are the main antagonists of Final Fantasy XIV, causing a calamity to bring about the world that they knew and loved, the Star, and destroying the current world. We are a proxy of the Ascians, and we're trying to cause chaos in the world, Look at you vaping.
Wow.
Ow.
Cause
Very
chaos in the
professional.
world to bring about this calamity. And that's the general gist of what the Dark Ascendants is.
Did anyone understand what any of that meant?
No, I was about to
I
say.
understood none of it.
I'm sure nobody understood that because I'm sure none of you play Final Fantasy.
I've been told
I
to play
played
it,
it
but
for
I
like
haven't.
10 minutes.
So that doesn't count. You played none of the story.
You're right. No, that's not true. I played like an hour and a half of the story, but I didn't pay attention. So
You played enough to get to level 10. That's it.
that is
Hey, and
true.
The only thing I know about that game is they had a really bomb-ass trailer relaunching it and killing the old game. So that's all I know.
They did.
We also have a new ESO guild, Shrouded Syndicate, which is interesting. From what I understand about it, it's like an Akaviri support group. They're like spies or something that work for the Akaviri and are trying to get information on Tamriel so they can take it over at some point in future history.
Are you telling
Which
me
is
that?
it's kind of interesting.
Are you telling me the Shrouded Syndicate is Akaviri Anonymous? Is
Yeah, kind of, right?
Okay.
Nice.
I don't know. I'll ask Bevsy later, and we'll not edit what I'm saying at all. I'll just pretend I'm right.
Wait, that's any different than normal?
No, exactly. You know, I'm not going to change my rhythm just for this. We got Ardent Enclave. I don't know very much about that, but it's one of our WoW guilds.
I know a
New
little bit
Alliance
about
Guild.
it.
Go ahead, T.
So Brotherhood of the Horse has unfortunately had to close down. That was what's been mentioned on past years. However, it has now been replaced with Ardent Enclave, which is based around the hunting and slaying of various monsters. Generally trying to keep the world of the Alliance a little bit safer. And I know no WoW lore, so I can't really elaborate much more than that. But I
That's
can cover the
good.
Why
SWTOR
I am
guilds.
no longer there.
Yeah,
I'm
that's
covered
a
in
good
smoke
bit.
right now.
And whose fault is that, Sihl?
It's
Yeah.
my own, and I.
That's a
own up
nice
to that.
smoke effect you got going there. What
Yeah,
program
it's-
you
yeah,
using
it's
to
Just
do
the
that?
green screen. It's just the green screen.
I'm my own smoke machine.
There you go.
What else we have? We have the Elysium Cartel, a new SWTOR guild, which is
Yes.
interesting. It's all smugglers, which all
It's the
smuggler
underworld.
class, I guess. Yeah, it's the underworld. It's the underworld of the Star Wars world. Strictly
wannabe-
pub side though,
yeah.
because imp sucks.
And
Absolutely.
we have the
I-
the Mandalorian guild that is taking up.
Yeah, but we talked about that last year.
We thought.
Yeah, that's true. Okay.
It existed. It
So-
what are they called again?
The
I'm in that one right now. I should know
Crusade.
that. Eternal Crusade.
Oi, Amanda.
Yeah, that one. They're still good. They're operating. And then we also have something totally new. We entered a new game, which is what is it called? Star Trek Online, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
With Nova Star Task Force, which is kind of cool. I don't know anything about Star Trek,
Same.
so to my understanding, they're part of the military,
Federation?
whatever
Ooh.
it's called.
Something Federation.
That's a word.
Starfleet.
Yeah, that's it. That's what it's called. Starfleet. They're
Yeah.
part of Starfleet,
Let's just default to that.
and that's great.
It's all right.
it
I
to
haven't
us.
I haven't watched Star Trek in years.
I haven't watched it.
At all.
You haven't watched Star Trek at all?
I've seen 2 of the JJ reboots movies, the first 2, and then what's the shitty show that came out in the early 2000s called? Enterprise, right?
Sure.
No, yeah,
The one that no one knows except you, apparently.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's Enterprise.
I watched the first season and a half of that and got really bored, so I was like, I'm done with this.
See, if you don't want to get bored while watching any of the Star Trek shows, you need to watch either Deep Space Nine or why can't I remember the actual
Next
name?
Generation.
Next Generation, yes, thank you.
I've
Did
heard,
watch part of the Next Generation.
I've heard Next Generation is good. I don't know. I haven't heard good things about Deep Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine is definitely a different feel than the other ones, but it's dark, gritty, and it is.
Is that the one with Janeway? Which one's the one with Janeway?
Janeway is it's on the science ship like Voyager.
Okay, yeah.
Good for her.
Cool.
Transitions are weird.
I don't know anything
talk.
about that. All right, moving on.
No, like
Nice
this
talk,
is
guys.
just like on the podcast. We started talking about Star Trek Picard and then like found out that was like basically all of us knew about Star Trek anyway. So we were, except for Jace.
There's more.
Well, Jace
subject
is a
in the
nerd,
card.
so
Yeah.
Jace was supposed to be here today, but sadly he couldn't make it. But
Oh,
that's okay. We
unfortunate.
love him anyway.
That's
We were
so
close.
unfortunate.
We tried.
So we also have other new stuff that's gone on in Sokan since our last this show.
Technical
Uh,
content.
Technically content.
Well, it is technically
Technically
content.
content.
Thanks, Vooky.
Technically, we've added content.
I hate this bit already.
And guess whose
Um,
idea it was? Yours.
Sure was. That was a mistake. Yeah, so
Told you,
we've done some stuff with Discord where I think it was before last year, a while before last year, that we moved from TeamSpeak to using Discord like fully.
I feel like it was probably sometime in 2018.
Yeah, it might have been. So it's been a while since we did that. But now we have more than one Discord. Well, or more than two because we had a staff one too. But now we
have a
have separate
plethora.
ones for each game. Yeah, we have
Now
we have a lot.
A lot.
There's a lot. I'm in like 8 of them.
Just
God,
it's
your
too many.
Discord must be so cluttered.
Right.
Oh, everything is muted. I don't look at most of them.
Yeah, I know, but trying to find anything on there, that must be a
No,
mess.
it is such a mess. Luckily, the majority of people don't have to be in all of them. So lucky you.
I think I'm in 9.
Yeah, lucky me. I'm in 1. And that's
9?
the main one. Oh God.
Yeah.
Why are you in 9?
Wait, hold on. What?
So I'm in all 3 of the spec discords, and then I'm in the lightsaber
Oh,
training
okay.
Discord.
Those
and
don't
then
Those
the
don't
Discord.
count.
Those aren't real.
Yeah, what he said.
Those aren't real.
Yeah, and then but
Those
I am
guys
in
have
the
their own
I'm in
separate
the
Discords. That's
SWTOR,
bullshit.
ESO, and staff servers. So I'm at least in 3 official ones.
You know what though? Even though we have so many like servers, the fact that Discord lets you folder them up now, I feel like that's just it's a godsend.
Oh, my
Because
stuff's been
that has been
folded for
very
a
good.
long time.
That has
solid.
been very convenient.
I wish I knew how to do that.
All you
Oh,
gotta
you
do
just,
is just drag
So-
them together.
so, really?
You just click, hold, drag them into each other, and they make folders.
All right. Well, you know what? I'll do that later.
Can you guys
I'll
believe
figure
he's
that
the one
out.
editing this?
I know, right? The podcast. I do too.
What
much.
podcast is this again? I forgot.
This isn't a podcast. This is technically a content.
Oh,
It's technically a podcast, but it's
technically
it's,
a podcast.
it's
But this
technically
is
content.
technically content.
Videocast.
Technically,
I hate all of you.
Podcast is
name.
also technically content, but it is not technically content with a
God.
capital T and C.
So I'm with you on that. Why did you come up with this idea?
All right, so I want to know what this third bullet point here is. Community JOs. Is there new ones or what is?
Yeah, there is a
so-
new one as of today. There's a new one.
Congratulations.
So okay, do you want to call out the date here?
No.
Friday,
Oh.
June 12th.
Great, thanks. Thanks for dating us.
So editing that out.
No, I'll leave it in. We're gonna date ourselves later anyway.
Do we want to say the date? No, we don't. Well, here's the date.
Yeah,
I do what I want.
as of earlier this morning, right? Or was it last night? No, it was earlier this morning, right? T.
It was last night for me
Oh.
because I've slept since then, but chronologically
Okay,
speaking, it
all
was
right.
today.
Okay.
Time is weird.
Yeah.
A little bit of A, a little bit of B.
Yeah. So T got promoted to community junior officer today, and Vooky's been one for a little while. Hey, what do you guys do as community junior officers? Tell us.
That's
Tell us
a
all about
really
your
good
job.
question.
We help facilitate the work that the wonderful community officers themselves do for this community, and
Just
basically
helping
we're
her being
always
held at
we're
gunpoint.
we're
like they're
always technically doing content. Yeah. So this
I was
is
about-
just
I don't have lanes yet. I'm too new, so
You just started. It's fine.
You better say what you're supposed to say, otherwise you get the saber.
oh.
The saber
God.
that
That we
crushes your
can't see.
face.
disappeared.
Yeah, that's great, man.
That was perfect.
Yeah. So
Oh,
community junior
Jesus
officers.
Christ.
What
basically-
is that? Holy! Please tell me that's real.
Hold on, I got something. Hold on. Since we're doing showing our fucking
Please tell me
Alex.
that's real.
It is.
What's happening?
Thank you.
Robin
You-
cited like
you
a
got
weapon
everyone
range.
at home now, so now you got the butterfly fade right here.
What's happening?
Vooky. So, do you guys have any weapons you want to pull out now?
I have.
Ah.
I'm gonna choose not to answer that question.
I can show you what's underneath the desk.
I don't want to know what's
No,
underneath
I
your
don't
desk,
wanna
Rob.
know.
I don't want to know.
I'm a little concerned now.
Oh,
You
I
good,
forgot
Alex?
this was next to my desk.
No,
because
I'm
it normally
fine.
doesn't come up.
So I live in Wisconsin. right?
Yes.
We have,
Oh, great
Okay.
lead.
yeah, I know.
Alright.
Hold on. So
Okay.
there's a I'm not gonna fucking no. There's a Wisconsin Dells is up north, and one of those places has a fantastic little forge shop. So where they forge like real metal like blades there, and then you get little trinkets. And like I'm not gonna show it, but
You
I've
can't
decided
just
not
you
to.
can't just like prelude what you're doing
Okay.
and then not show it.
Show it.
Well, I like on the trip, I was like, this isn't a good bit, but okay. So this is like a sword I bought.
Oh
there.
my god.
It's like a real fucking sword. It can cut through a
Please
lot.
don't cut yourself on camera.
Can you
Oh,
just
okay,
like
so-
impale it in your wall?
Sorry, I just love the idea that you made such a show of going to get a weapon and then on the way back thought this isn't a good bit and then did it anyway.
Yep.
If that's not technically content, I don't know what is.
Just fucking show it.
If my green screen isn't what technically content is, I don't know what is.
That's also
My actual
pretty
green
accurate.
wall, however, is
You can green screen your wall.
I could, but
But
Yeah,
why?
what about what is that? Is that a painting or what is that above
oh,
your
this
head?
No.
this?
No,
Oh,
that.
Behind you. Yeah,
There.
that thing. What is
Ah,
that?
yes.
that
the
is
thing
a
that's in the
cork
corner?
board that I covered with a piece of paper because it looks cool.
Okay.
Okay.
Looks cool. It looks
Crafty
cool.
tea.
Crafty tea.
It is actually literally tea dyed pieces of it's like a wrapping paper. It's got like the old style cartography type stuff on it and says some stuff in Latin. It used to be white. We dyed it in tea for a bit, and now it's like more of a beige color, so it fits better with the theme of the room. So
Dorime.
All right, since we're going on with
Don't
show
worry.
and tell for this first segment now.
this is actually a Star Wars poster. So
Ooh,
Nice.
hold on. Oh
Nice.
fuck.
Okay.
From which movie?
the OG,
It's a good one.
Okay, good.
I think it might be
One of the good ones. One of the ones
Just-
that
just
are
be
watchable.
Yeah,
really
it's an
ambiguous.
original trilogy poster.
Okay. Smart.
Yeah,
If
does,
it's not
a
Empire,
specific
slightly
movie.
less points.
No, don't answer that question.
I don't think you want to see the painting that's on the that's just on like above my amplifier.
I
I
see
feel
I
like
don't think
space
I
behind
could
you.
see it, Rob.
Yeah,
Wait, no,
I
that's
feel like you'd be
space.
disappointed. Hold on.
How could you put a poster on those windows? That would
Rob,
just
don't
obstruct
walk
your
out of the
view.
airlock.
Uh,
Oh, it's so
Rob.
he's you're disappearing and then okay.
Rob,
That green screen is working so
Oh
well.
damn!
it's perfect.
Look at it. It's great.
It's so great. That thing we can't see.
It's working
Ah.
so well, man.
The fourth wall still intact.
Yep.
Barely.
Oh, shit. All right.
By
But that's
intact, we
technically
mean
content.
invisible.
But bump. All right.
Oh,
I hate
we
this
still
whole
have
bit.
time. But
Do
I
we?
think-
God, end
yeah,
this.
We do.
Let this
Yeah,
end.
but we can end it here. Yeah.
Let this entire show just be done right now.
That's it. We're up. We're done.
That's the show.
done.
We're finished.
We're done.
All right. Thanks for watching, everybody. Goodbye.
Now I gotta figure out how to put this back.
It's a pretty solid poster, though.
It is a cool poster. Great.
All right. It's time to show off my ignorance in this next segment. We're going to be talking about films, which
I'm right with you.
I've not seen like any of these. So this is gonna be great.
You have seen one of them though, and that's the first one we're going to talk
I
about.
really hope you.
All right,
seen at
cool.
least
So
one
I
of
can
them.
actually be active at the start.
I mean, you
Awesome.
better have seen one of them.
I really hope you've at least seen one of them.
All right, so Rise of Skywalker came out since last year, and I think last year we had some shit to talk about Last Jedi. So let's talk some more shit now. Rob,
Rise of Skywalker was better than The Last Jedi.
that is accurate.
Yes,
That is true.
that is very accurate.
But
That's
low
not-
bar. Low
It's a
bar.
It's
pretty.
low
It's
bar.
it's a really low
The bar was underground, like let's be clear. But
That by no
But
means means
here's
that
the
was a
thing.
good movie.
If Last Jedi set the bar underground, did Rise of Skywalker get above ground?
it hit ground level.
Okay,
Barely.
I
Ground
can agree
level?
with that. I guess.
Surpass
Barely.
ground level, at least, yeah.
I don't know. I'm not sure.
Just barely. I
Well,
would say.
okay. Like it suffers from the issue that I don't know if I talked about it last time. I wasn't on last time, so never mind. I couldn't have talked about it. But
I seem to recall you were on for a solid 20 minutes talking about Sabrina the Teenage Witch.
she's adorable.
I
Anyways,
swear to
so-
God, do not get him on this train again.
No, we're
Do
talking
not
about
get
Star
him
Wars.
on this
Shut
train
up.
again.
We're not even on that segment yet.
Yeah, it's there. No.
No.
they planned to have 3 different directors, and it showed off that there's 3 different directions going for the franchise, or was 3 different directions in that franchise.
It was too
That's
obvious.
accurate. That's fair.
It would have done so much better if they just kept one director in charge of all 3 of them with a consistent storyline between all 3 of them.
It
Or
was.
if any of
with a very visible beginning, middle, and end.
But that makes too much sense.
Or if they
Yeah.
just like left each other's work alone. So like Ryan Johnson, like kind of, I don't want to say retcon, but kind of steered the train a different direction.
I mean, he
Really
did
subverted
retcon.
No, you were right the
expectations.
first time. He retconned it.
Yes,
I don't think
T.
he retconned exactly. It was more like he just because
The
it was left
first
so
5
ambiguous.
minutes of Rise of Skywalker was just like, so forget that other movie. We're doing this now.
Pretty
Like,
much, it was. Yeah.
Okay.
It was just
And,
like, oh, I'm Palpatine, and by the way, I'm alive. And then they're like,
Oh.
oh, okay, this
Yeah,
is the
they,
No,
plot.
no,
like,
no.
they like skipped
So-
out on so much between
I was
Last Jedi and Rise of Skywalker.
So I feel like Sihl will know the answer to this question. Do you remember what the exact time was for the original cut of the movie? Like, it was something absurdly long.
It was like 4
which one?
hours.
For
It
Rise of
was like
Skywalker?
Rise of Skywalker.
More than 4 hours. It was a little more than
It
4
was
hours. I
something
believe.
like that, yeah.
Honestly, I wish they would have kept that original cut.
I mean, like, where's our Lord of the Rings version, extended version, but for Star Wars?
Right?
I don't know that I want
would be
that, to be
great.
honest.
Oh,
not sure I
okay,
want it.
Come on.
I
Not
feel like
for
it would have done a lot better.
The Last
Here's
Jedi,
the thing.
but
Here's the thing, right? Speaking of different directors and like not having a consistent story, I think I said it last year or maybe in 2018's episode. I think the entire trilogy would have been way better if Rey had become the villain and Kylo had become the hero. And they did half of it, and they didn't do the other half.
Yeah.
they didn't commit.
They didn't commit.
I got to be real though. The design for Darkseid Rey, that was dope.
It
They
was.
should
I
have
like
given
seeing
her
that.
a saber staff, even though she stayed light side.
Agreed.
She should have had a saber staff the entire time.
She should have stayed dark side, frankly. But whatever, it's fine. It's cool.
I mean,
hot
to be-
take, hot take.
to be fair, she never really fell to the dark side.
He kind of
How
just
come she should
oopsied
have?
into the
She
Force
should.
lightning.
Okay.
She did oopsie
Yeah,
into
she
it,
just
yeah.
kind of random
did-
force lightning.
yeah,
that didn't make
that
any
was-
sense.
That it
Here's
didn't
the
make sense.
Here's the thing, right? When I went to see Rise of Skywalker, like the more I thought about Last Jedi after seeing it, the more I realized how much I didn't like it.
Yeah, if you
Um,
walked out of you walked out of The Last Jedi confused enough that you thought you liked what you had seen.
Exactly.
And then as you had time to process it, you were like, wait, this doesn't add
That's
up.
very accurate. So because of that,
No,
I
it
went
does
into
not.
Rise of Skywalker and turned my brain off. So I was like, I'm not going to criticize this movie at all. I'm just going to watch it and I'm going to see how I feel. And I was entertained. But then the last season of
Clone Wars.
Clone Wars, thank you, came out, and the first half of it was meh, but then the last half of it was fucking incredible. And it reminded me why I like Star Wars, and it made me think, oh yeah, I didn't like Last Jedi or Rise of Skywalker at
Skywalker.
all. They're bad. They're bad
Was it-
movies.
So
Oh wait, there is good
First half?
content.
There
Or
is.
was it the
so
two-thirds of
I gotta
next
be real though. They're like, so I did not think it was a good Star Wars movie.
It wasn't.
However, I thought there were really good Star Wars moments.
Yes.
There was a few good Star Wars in both of them, actually. I mentioned it before, but like the scene, what's her name? The character that was in Last Jedi and then didn't matter.
Rose Tico
Rose.
or Admiral.
No, not Rose.
Wait,
the other
Admiral
one.
Holdo.
The Admiral, yeah, the Admiral
Yeah.
Holdo.
Oh.
When she like flew the ship into hyperspace into the other ship, that was awesome. That was amazing. If the whole movie was as good as that moment, it would have been a great movie.
It kind of breaks like space combat for the entirety of the series, but it was
Ah.
visually cool.
Well, it was like
It
a
was
composite,
visually
though.
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So really
So-
interesting bit they do there. That wasn't brought up in The Last Jedi. That was brought up in Force Awakens. So technically, J.J. Abrams designed that because they made a quote.
was it
You
brought
just don't
up
wanna
in
give-
Force
they made
You
Awakens?
just
it
don't want to give
quote.
credit to Ryan Johnson.
No. Well, okay. Ryan Johnson did something interesting with that whole ship thing, but the concept of running into an object was created by J.J. Abrams, like in the movies.
Are we like
feel like-
trademarking the concept right now, or the
Yeah, I
fact
feel like
that
Or
the
it showed
concept
up on
of
the
running
screen?
into
execution.
things is
Yeah.
pretty old.
But like,
Well-
are we talking about the concept or the execution?
But also,
Well,
if you want to
the-
get technical, the concept, I think that concept existed already. Because
Yeah.
Well, if you want to get really
I don't know if-
technical, it is content.
Stop.
Oh,
We're past that.
All right,
second T.
we're
Oh my
taking
God.
our fucking first trip here.
There goes Rob.
And it
Right.
wasn't me.
Disappearing
wasn't me
into-
who
It
did
wasn't Alex. Congrats,
Thanks,
man. You don't get
Mateo.
black boxed this time.
Good job, Alex.
Hey, real quick, Sokan community, if you want to see more of me, please let Sihl know.
Don't let me know. I don't want to hear it.
Please,
Yeah.
please let him out of his box. He wants to be free.
I get
Um,
1 day a year.
He doesn't need to be free.
Yeah, I don't. I feel like we all have a general consensus that we didn't really like Rise of Skywalker very much, but it was okay.
It
was
was.
okay.
I did like seeing force healing
Uh,
on screen.
I loved how you offered they used it.
Here's the thing. I also liked seeing it on screen, but after the fact, when I turned my brain on again, I understood a lot of the points people had as criticism for it, where it was like, why didn't this exist the entire time? It would have been
Right.
really useful a long time ago.
The first use of it, I liked. The second use of it, I was like, that's not all right.
Yeah, I agree. I honestly, I liked it better in Mandalorian than in the movie.
True.
I felt like it was a much
True.
better way to show it off.
It-
Oh, he's back.
It made more sense the way they did in the Mandalorian.
Yeah,
Oh.
it did make more sense, and it also
the
didn't feel
Mandalorian.
breaking to have it in the Mandalorian.
It didn't. It
You know
didn't
what it
feel
is though?
forced
I
either.
think it's because a lot of the things in Rise of Skywalker felt rushed, right? So
Yeah,
they
they
put
did.
these little cool segments in, and then it was just like 2 seconds, and then everyone's like, "What did you just do to that like animal?" And she's like,
Right.
"Oh, I just transferred life essence," and then that was it. And then
Yeah,
next scene,
for sure.
Right.
I feel
that-
like everything in that movie was rushed. I mean, the basic plot
the
of the movie
start.
was rushed.
from the start, it was it
Literally,
just-
the
Well,
opening roll was like,
obviously
"Hey, by the
rushed.
way, Palpatine's alive."
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
Oh, and hey, we found out about the Wayfinders somehow that were never mentioned in any of the other movies.
Yep,
They basically had to do 2 movies in one.
basically, and
It
they
felt
didn't.
like 2 movies.
It didn't.
You
It
know
didn't
what would've
get
solved
executed
that?
that well.
The 4-hour plus cut.
Nope.
Okay.
Well,
right.
I think I read
Okay.
something at some point that they were actually considering splitting it into 2 separate movies, like kind of like the you know how they did for the end of Harry Potter, they did for the end of Twilight, just doing a
I
part
don't
1 and a part
know.
2, and then they were like, no, it's trilogy.
I'm tired of those.
You're done.
Honestly, it might have turned out better if they had done that, but at the same time, I feel like most people would have gotten tired of it.
Yeah. Especially if the first half didn't live up to like
Mhm.
quote better than
your-
Last Jedi.
Yeah.
Especially the fact of how often they roll back on their own shit and try to appease the audience. So the first half would have came out and the audience would have been like, that's trash. And then they would have been like, oh, my bad, let's change the second half. Still would have been rushed.
Yeah,
I mean, but fan
So-
bases are known for being able to complain, so like they
that's
kind of
true.
got to
Especially
weather
the
that
Star Wars
storm.
fan base.
Yeah.
Oh,
Dude,
we are-
everyone
Don't get me
loves the
started.
prequels now. It's really funny.
I don't. I don't
Right?
love the prequels. All right,
the
they're
Star
not
Wars
good.
fan base
Yo,
is fucking trash. They're
I remember
all
when-
idiots.
I remember when everyone hated the prequels, like everyone would shit on the prequels for whatever reason, and now everyone loves it because the sequels are
Not
so
for
bad.
whatever reason. There's a very good reason to shit on the prequels. 3 is the only good one, and it's
Yeah,
good in
but
quotes.
people even shitted on that.
Listen,
Like-
That's true.
they're
Oh,
not
no,
dumb
no.
for liking
in
movies.
in my tier list, fucking Revenge of the Sith goes all the way up top. I
No.
love that movie so much.
No.
I love
Really?
that movie
No.
so much.
I mean,
It-
visually it's cool, but like,
Visually
God,
it's
is the
very cool.
acting
goes-
poor.
It goes up there with fucking Rogue One.
No.
I will
I
Inaccurate.
fight.
like Rogue One.
I will
Rogue One,
fight people on-
Empire, everything else.
I actually enjoyed the Phantom Menace. It's not my favorite, but I did actually enjoy it.
Oddly enough, I also
Just
enjoyed
have
the
to ignore
Here's the
Jar
thing.
Jar.
Here's the thing, right? How old were you when Phantom Menace came out? Or rather, how old were you when you saw it?
But I say I don't think I was born
I
when
I
it
think
came.
I was.
Yeah, it came out in '98. So
Wait,
I wasn't born
born
the
yet.
Phantom.
Oh my god.
The Phantom
you're so
Menace
young.
came out in '98.
yeah,
I was 2 when it came out then.
I'm a
I was-
99 baby, so I wasn't
Alright.
alive.
How old were you
Speaking
when you
of-
saw it?
speaking
is
of-
the point. Because here's the
I
thing.
was
right, alright,
very young when I saw it.
I was 10.
There's a whole thing about how in what's it called? The last one, New Hope. In New Hope, they added the Ewoks, right? And that was to make it more family friendly. And older audiences who saw the first 2 movies didn't like Ewoks because they were older by
Re-
that point and they thought this
Return
is
of the
stupid.
Jedi.
That's what I meant. Not New
Okay.
Hope. My bad. Sorry.
Okay.
I got them mixed up.
All
In
good.
Return of the Jedi, the Ewoks, people who saw the first 2 movies didn't like the Ewoks because they were making it for more friendly towards children, and the older audiences by that point didn't care for that.
So are you saying the add-ins made a difference?
Yes. So like
Okay.
then Phantom Menace came out, and there was more stuff like Jar Jar, for example, that was made for children to like the movie more, but older audiences didn't like it. So if you saw the movie when you were younger, you like it more. That's
Saw
my
it when
point.
I was
Oh,
younger,
speaking
but
of-
I actually hated it at the time, and then now I appreciate it later on because I think that the prequel movies actually do a really good job of showing galactic politics and the complicated world building around it. It's at least more than we got in the original trilogy.
That's fair.
Actually, make a good point.
All right, so
That's
I
why
feel
I
like
enjoyed
I
it.
feel like
controversial-
we're alienating a lot of the non-Star Wars fan
Yeah, let's
base
talk
here.
about something different
Listen,
besides
yeah.
Star Wars.
listen. 5 out of 6 people in this channel have been in the Knights Officer Corps. Okay.
Okay, first of all, we spent about 9 minutes talking about Star
5 out of
Wars.
6.
Let's
Here's
talk
the
about
here's the
Joker.
1 out of 6.
Ooh, let's,
No, you were a Jo.
he makes a good point. Let's go
You
on
said
to the
you specifically
next
said
movie.
officer.
Yeah, but Officer Corps. Like, it can include the J. I meant to
We
include.
Leadership.
changed the term of that.
So,
Let's not.
so anyway,
move on.
Joker happened.
Yeah.
some-
Joker
sometime.
did happen.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about that.
Yeah, I didn't see it
There's
You didn't
a
see it?
sur-
No.
Why?
Oh,
Why didn't you see it?
because
Just out of
I had
curiosity.
no interest in
Well,
watching.
you're gonna get what you fucking deserve. Anyway.
Okay.
Sorry.
Wow.
Um,
Dang.
Wow,
Jesus.
Vooky.
what? It was a tie into the movie.
It's a good bit.
No, I
That's
don't
a
know.
good bit.
That was a good tie-in, but
I prefer
Wow.
Ledger's performance, but I liked what they did with this movie, if that makes sense.
I
Yes.
felt like it was very different for the Joker. I thought, as far as the performance goes, I think Joaquin and Ledger are on par.
Mhm.
Significantly better than the other recent Joker we got that we're not going to talk about. Because holy shit, that was terrible. But
I like the fact that it was a little more artsy, and
It
it
was.
was in a action kind of comic book store like style. And the last time we had like a fancy little artsy comic book style movie was Watchmen, and that was
Yeah.
still slightly different.
eh,
So
also
The closest
not
thing
very
to
good.
no, it wasn't, but it was the closest we got to like artsy,
true.
and this one
That's
was
true.
actually really good.
I thought it did a pretty good job of that. Yeah, it took a comic book story in a different direction of like how to make it, and it did a pretty good job of it.
It was a good commentary, but I think like there were definitely moments where it was like a little over dramatized. Like, and
For
that
sure.
was like the one thing that detracted for me.
I
Like
will say,
got
but honestly, it's Joker. Would
here's
you
the thing.
really
Like
expect it
I think
not to be?
the best part of it is that there's no right answer to whether any of it even happened.
Yeah.
Which I think is the best part about that movie is like I there's no way this will ever happen, but I think the most interesting thing they could do taking that story forward would be to do the exact same movie but a totally different story. Like if it's a different character but it's still played by Joaquin Phoenix and he still becomes the Joker and it ends the exact same way. That would be amazing.
That's
They'll
the
never do
sequel.
that because that would be a train wreck, but it would be hilarious for a sequel.
I got these
I
scars.
feel like
Do a few quotes like that. That would be really neat. Like just like him rehearsing a few of Heath
Ledger's
Ledger's
lines. Yeah.
Yeah,
That would be
that'd
fun.
be a neat. Yeah, I love how every time you talk to somebody about it, you learn something a little interesting about it. Like I was in a movie theater with my girlfriend watching, as I do every time there's a new movie that comes out.
Aw.
Two people walked out because they brought their kids,
Well, all right, come
Uh,
on.
and then like there
Like,
was
the
one
people,
scene.
that's like the people bringing their kids in to go see fucking Deadpool.
Yeah, that's so stupid.
My parents took me to see Deadpool.
I had
Yeah,
to
but how old were you when you went to see Deadpool?
I think I was like 16 or 17. Yeah.
There
I
you
had
go.
a-
That's fine.
you were
That's
old
fine.
enough.
It was just
So,
really
yeah,
funny.
Speaking
Just,
of
like, sitting
Deadpool,
next to my parents,
Wait, hold
Deadpool
on.
played.
You were 16.
How old are you?
When the first one
child.
came out? Yeah, the first one
on.
came out a little while ago.
I was
The
16 when I
first one
went
came
to-
out a little while ago.
Yeah,
The
I was
first
16 when the
Deadpool?
first one came out.
I don't know.
I'm 20.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
All
Yeah,
I was
I'm
in
the same age as
Speaking
you.
of Deadpool, Ryan Reynolds has also been in another recent movie, and that's Detective Pikachu.
he was in like
Which-
2 minutes of it.
Detective
He
Pikachu?
was Pikachu.
Wait,
What
his
the fuck?
He
voice
was
was in the entire
His
thing.
voice was in the whole thing. He physically was in 2 minutes.
Wait, was he
Gotcha.
physically in 2 minutes?
Yes.
It was like
Yeah,
a
he was
minute
in
in the
it.
beginning and a minute in the end. That
Yeah.
was it.
Because
That was
yeah, like,
literally it.
can we talk about spoilers? Are we allowed to talk
Yeah,
about
it
spoilers?
came out a while ago. Who cares?
Yeah, cool. So like the whole bit was that the Ryan Reynolds was trapped inside Pikachu's body, and then at the end he was
Yeah.
like separated, and so
And then he
like,
was
oh,
like,
there's
But hey, I'm
So-
your dad. And
Yeah.
that's it.
That was the
So
movie.
as big of a Pokemon fan that I am, and I'm a huge Pokemon fan. I love, it's been a part of my life since I was a child. I still have not seen that movie. I've seen it just on shelves, walking past it at work, since I work at Wally World now, which
It's It's a fun movie.
Yeah.
It is.
Is
You'll
it
see
a
the
turn?
plot.
Is it
like
is it a turn your brain off movie?
It doesn't
No.
have to be.
No.
Enjoy it for what it is, movie. That's what
Yeah.
it is.
Okay.
Yeah.
I
Like,
wouldn't
it
say you have to
doesn't-
turn your brain off to get it or to enjoy it, but like it's not if you're criticizing it for what it is, you're not you know,
Getting it.
You're gonna
You-
be able to see
I
the plot
guess.
twists coming. I think at least some of them,
Yeah.
because there are a couple of them.
they're pretty obvious.
Yeah, but like you're also not gonna feel like anything's coming out of way left field. It's like this is just the path of the story and the way that it goes.
I think
Also
if-
reaffirmed why Mewtwo is my favorite Pokemon. So
I think if you love the world of Pokemon, you'll like what they did and how they exemplified what that world would look like realistically. And I like the fact that the villain in the movie isn't as like corny and childish as like Team Rocket usually is, right?
Yeah,
Like
that's
they
true.
actually made it a realistic why this like bad person is doing their bad things. And I think that was very important for making the movie not get super corny.
I will
Right?
say, did you watch the anime and as a kid?
Yes.
So there
a
is some
lot.
interesting things in the plot where it kind of ties into the anime.
Huh.
It's not like clearly the same world, but they make it seem like it could be,
Okay.
which is kind of interesting. And like if you look out for that stuff, it's fun to see.
really fucked up how they set Mr. Mime on fire and just watch that happen.
What?
Yeah.
Wait, I don't remember that part.
Excuse me?
So
Yeah.
the bit that they do, because it's in the Pokédex, is that Mr. Mime's like psychic ability is like belief. So everything he's acting out is true. So in order to get information out of him, they have to play with him. They have to kind
Oh,
of like
right.
go into that game.
Right.
And what they do is they set him on fire.
They do that.
Just
They don't
douse him in the
actually physically set
gasoline
him on
and then
fire,
just-
but they pretend to do it. Yeah.
No,
Okay.
they set the they pour the gasoline in a line going to him and then over him, and then they're standing there and he pretends to strike a match. But then at the end of the conversation, after they've got the information that they need, he just drops it. So it sets Mr. Mime on fire.
Yep.
Like actually on fire.
Yeah.
That does
No,
happen.
no, not
Well,
actually.
no,
but-
like-
but because it's real
Miming,
in Mr.
miming
Mime.
being on. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah. So Mr. Mime is
Holy
actually
shit.
burning alive, but like
It's
it's not
great.
actual
Yeah.
flames.
It's great. It's
He
fantastic.
just needs
There's
to
no
get out
body
of that
horror
box.
because this is a children's movie, but you can definitely see that he's screaming.
Oh yeah.
Also, Sihl, I do see that all your vapor is now like
Yeah.
swelling in your background.
I know, right? It's great.
You got your own smoke machine there.
I do. I am my own smoke machine. It's fantastic.
Speaking about smoke, can we talk about the garbage fire that Dark Phoenix was?
I didn't watch it.
Skipping-
Didn't
oh,
I
actually
couldn't
see
watch
it.
it.
I didn't think you could make the X-Men movies any worse.
After Wolverine. Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Okay, Wolverine was actually good though, I thought. Right?
It was
I haven't rewatched
okay.
it. I don't know.
When,
anymore.
when was the last time you saw Wolverine?
It's been a minute.
Watch it again.
Okay. I thought it
Wolverine
was a fitting
was
end to the character.
okay.
Let's put that.
it was okay. It wasn't good. It wasn't great. But
It was a movie.
but Dark Phoenix makes it look like an amazing film.
You know, I think that's why I like Wolverine. God, Dark Phoenix.
They tried giving her. I guess I haven't watched it. I thought it was the other one, but they gave the one actress like the leading, or was supposed to be the leading role, and it didn't work
Sophie
out.
Turner,
No.
right?
Yeah.
No, you're
Yeah.
thinking about the right movie. You're thinking about it. The right movie.
No, yeah. Like I know what the movie was. I thought we were talking about the last one for some fucking reason. I completely forgot about it, Dark Phoenix. But yeah, I didn't watch this one. But I heard that they kind of tried to push her into the front, like to be like the main character of that whole shabacle, and it was
Mhm.
kind of weird and awkward.
I don't know.
It
I didn't
seemed
watch it.
like the writing just didn't connect with what they wanted to do, and then the acting didn't match up because the writing was kind of booty, and then
I think my whole problem was just.
Isn't
the
that how it
acting.
normally goes though? Like if the script writing is terrible, like
um,
there's only so
Well-
much that the actors are able to do with such a bad script.
That's true. And I mean, Sophie Turner is not a bad actress. She's
yeah.
incredible in Game of Thrones. But like, oh boy.
is she though?
Yeah, I
Isn't
was about to say.
In Game of Thrones, she kind of plays like one stoic arc, and it's always like a little bit whiny, and it's just like,
Okay.
The
Remember
character
her in
she-
the beginning.
yeah, okay, no, she got better. I'll
Yeah.
give her that. Yeah.
Like she plays one character that's, I don't want to say easy to play, but like it's hard to gauge like their emotion if they're like monotone or trying to be like a calm person. And like comic books are always fucking tacky. They're really tacky, and like they don't really make sense most of the time. Like it's kind of yes, Zigboard from the planet Albatrex is coming down to the Earth, and then it's hard
Yeah,
to act like that.
they had
Are
an
you referencing
opportunity
something,
to
or
do
did you just
something
pull that
good.
out of your ass?
I pulled that out of my
That was
ass.
definitely out of his ass.
Obviously.
Yeah.
They had
That's
a
from
chance to do
Alex's fan
something
fiction.
good.
How'd you know?
I read
They
it.
had
Yeah, I did post my novel there. Let me know what you think.
We left you
Oh.
kudos.
Oh,
We
trash.
support you, Alex.
thanks.
I don't.
Oh,
Sorry, Vooky, you were saying?
No, I'm saying they had a chance to do something good, and then they're like, let's just bring in some randoms and ruin this plot.
Yeah.
It just
Like,
wasn't.
I'm
No.
just not sure how those aliens really tied into anything.
I mean, there's source material
cosmic
for it,
energy.
but just no.
But yeah, that's the point, right? Like comic books, especially around, which is cool to look back, and I have a chance to look back at that. But like when comics first started coming out, that kind of shit would happen. They happened all the time, and like you'll have this random like alien or new element or something that doesn't really make sense because it's pulled out of people's butts.
But then they've developed the story so that it does start making sense.
Yes, with the new comic books, they kind of like try and like make it better or make it tie in.
They
but
fixed
still-
the
Yeah,
holes.
They
But
fix
even
those
then-
holes.
But even then, there's more recent versions of the Dark Phoenix storyline in comics
They're
and
so good.
cartoons that are way better than
better.
the original.
like how they did the original X-Men trilogy. I think like the Dark
Yeah.
Phoenix for that one was
Yeah.
just, she kind of
I mean, X-Men
Yeah.
3 Last Stand
I'm a
was
big-
garbage, but
yeah.
the way
I
they
mean-
did the story made more sense than the actual standalone movie they did for
I
it.
feel like the story they did for Phoenix and the X-Men trilogy was better than what they did for her in Dark Phoenix.
Yep.
Honestly.
I haven't seen Dark
Oh.
Phoenix, so I'm hesitant to use the word better because that movie was garbage too. But
It's
I mean,
it's
it
all
was
low
garbage.
bars. It's all low bars.
So when you have a garbage trilogy, what can you do? What can you really
the
do?
first two
Make a
were
good
alright.
movie. That's what you could do.
You could make a good movie. Yeah, that's what you can do.
They've been trying, and
They're trying. Oh
Ain't
man, they're
working,
trying.
Chief.
But talking about good comic book movies, Spider-Man: Far From Home.
Oh, before we get into that, we're a little
Oh,
over time.
yes.
That's fine.
Do we want to keep? Okay.
It's
All right.
fine.
We're gonna keep going then. Spider-Man.
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 I
Does
will-
whatever.
swear to God.
Spider-Man does. I
The
will
best part of that
say-
is that that's all of us singing that is going to be completely out of sync.
Oh yeah,
very
but
much
it's
so.
content.
Oh boy, it
Technically.
is.
Technically,
Man, the
I
more
will
I
say-
watch. No, you go first.
I would say is my favorite live-action Spider-Man movie.
Yeah.
Period.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. I thought Homecoming was I think a little better. I liked it more. But it was a good movie. Like I think I talk about this a lot, the difference between good and entertaining in film. And I think that very few Marvel movies are both. I think there are some that are not either, and there are some that
Mhm.
are one or not the other. I think Far From Home was a good movie and an entertaining movie.
Okay. Honestly, I feel like Far From Home was a better movie. Like it was a more entertaining movie to me because I got to see it in 4D, and that made the experience just 10 times better.
You
Like-
saw it in
All right, so I got a
4D?
question for you.
Yeah.
How are those like 4D theater experiences? Because I've seen those advertised, but I've never been
Like-
to one. How did that work?
So they really make you feel like you're actually in the movie. Like for I'll use Spider-Man as an example. Like when he's swinging through, they like rock the chairs around, so it actually feels like you're swinging along with him. When he goes through the water, it sprays you in the face, not with a lot of water, but enough so that it feels like
Is it like one of those fucking spray bottles that'll like spray my cat if it's like doing something like bad or
like it's something like that. And then gushes of air for like while he's swinging through the air too.
That's interesting.
It just makes the experience
and
better.
this is all the while you have the 3D glasses on, right?
Yes.
So
I don't know if I would like that.
At any point did you end up getting water on those 3D glasses and you're like, fuck, now I gotta wipe them? Okay.
Maybe
Have
it's
they
position.
fixed the problem of having the 3D glasses on over your normal glasses yet?
No, they have not.
Okay, cool. Understood.
Good to know. That's why I'm
He's
not
sitting there
watching
like,
3D
well,
movies.
still not going to one of those.
Yeah.
The more and more I watch Tom Holland, the more and more I love him as Spider-Man. And I know it's like such a mainstream
He's-
thing to say, but man,
He's a great
he's
Spider-Man.
A good Spider-Man, yeah.
It's
I
nice
mean-
seeing Spider-Man like as a kid because every other Spider-Man we've seen has like been pseudo kid, and
Yeah.
it's like weird. But
Okay,
like,
so
yeah.
I feel like with Andrew Garfield and
Tobey Maguire.
Tobey Maguire, like one of them was a really good Peter Parker, the other one was a really good Spider-Man.
Sure.
I just feel like Tom
Tom Holland
Holland
is both.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like there's just no
Just to be clear,
compromise.
you mean that Tobey Maguire was the good Peter Parker, right?
Yes,
Okay, because Andrew Garfield was a terrible
Terrible
Peter Parker.
Not good.
He was
There was a-
awful.
there was
but
a
he
few,
was but he was a very witty Spider-Man.
Yeah, for sure.
there's a few good lines I like in Andrew Garfield's Peter Parker moments because there's some cool points. No, there
Listen,
are a good few lines.
No. When
There-
you make Peter Parker an outcast skater boy, you've ruined Peter Parker.
No.
You lost me there.
No, absolutely. But like there are a few good concepts in the Andrew Garfield Peter Parker that were portrayed fairly decently. Because you get to see a few sides of Peter Parker that are there that are usually kept away from audiences, especially in movies, because they're trying to portray Peter Parker as a different individual, which is good. That's how you're supposed to be doing it, right? Because you don't want to give a character too many different. You don't want to confuse the character, especially if it's not about just that confusing part of that character. Like the whole with great power comes great responsibility. That whole bit in the first Tobey
first
Maguire movie.
The first
That's
movie.
that's part of Peter Parker. Yeah, first thing you do with superpowers, let's see how I can get fucking rich off of this. See how I can better my situation. And
See how I
then
can get the ladies.
I forgot which one it was, but Andrew Garfield had a moment where like he was getting bullied at school. So now he has his powers. All right, fucking let's square up then. All right,
I think that was
let's go.
like close to the end of the first movie. Pretty sure.
Yeah. And then they have a
They did that
dialogue
in the
back and-
beginning of the Tobey Maguire one.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
Yeah, so-
did.
Yeah, he did to that just too.
That
But, like,
wrestling scene though.
As
One
much as
thing-
I love Tom Holland, I want more Miles Morales. I want a live
Yeah.
action
Actually,
Miles
that's-
Morales.
That's what they've that's what I've heard criticisms of, is actually that they feel like Tom Holland's Spider-Man is written as though he is Miles Morales in a lot of ways.
Interesting.
Really?
I don't
uh,
I don't
that.
see it.
I can see
Peter Parker was kind of an
why-
asshole in the comics.
yeah,
Little
so
bit.
like taking it back and looking at like the bare minimum. Oh, people are adding. What the fuck? Or like yeah, okay, they're pretty similar. So obviously there's a lot of similarities between those. But I think Miles Morales has a few different character quirks that's different than Peter Parker's. And I haven't seen Miles Morales in Tom Holland's shit yet. Though, to be fair, you know, that new movie, the what was it, Spider-Verse, pretty fucking good. Eh?
That was
Oh
a
my
great movie.
god, that was really good. I kind of wanted to see them follow that up.
Well, they're doing a sequel. I think.
Yeah.
I think it's a sequel that's instead of Miles being the main character, is Gwen is the main character. I think in that one.
I didn't hear about that, but that'd
I'm
be
So
not
they're-
100 % sure about
So
that.
they're going to her universe then.
I think so.
Oh.
Yeah. But I
There's
think Miles Morales is still in it. It's just that it's like her story instead of his, is what I've heard. I don't.
be
I
down-
can't.
I'd be
confirm
down for that. I'd be
that.
down for
Yeah,
that. But
she's
I
a
don't
great
know.
character in that film.
But-
I actually
Mhm.
want more of her too.
I haven't
I
seen the
get it.
movie, but I
But-
got the soundtrack
but I want
on
them
my
to follow-
Spotify.
I want them to follow up on what they did at the end of Into the Spider-Verse with
The portal. opening.
Miguel.
yeah. I
Miguel.
forgot which Spider-Man that is, but I want to see
Miguel.
that.
I
2099.
want more Spider
Yes.
Noir.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, Miguel.
Spider Noir? Really?
I do want more Spider Noir. Actually, I
don't
want more
want-
John Mulaney as Spider.
Yeah.
as
A
well.
John
was about
Mulaney as
to
Spider
say.
Man was pretty cool.
My hands
I
are
just
just
washed my
wet because I
hands.
watched. The fuck.
No other reason.
Damn it.
All right.
No other reason.
So I think we're gonna move on now and talk about
Here's a
some of the-
hammer. It can fit in your pocket.
Nice. Thanks.
Speaking of cartoons.
All right, so we're moving on from film to TV. So first off, do we want to start off with probably one Kenny?
What?
Why?
You good, Kenny? You all right?
I didn't
Doesn't
think
know
anyone
what
caught
TV
that.
is, Sihl.
I have the
Didn't think
ears of a
anyone caught
fucking
that.
hawk. Don't test me. So
All right, sorry.
Mandalorian. Let's start
Mandalorian.
Oh,
How much
What
do
a
we really
good
need to
show.
talk about the Mandalorian?
that was so good.
Yeah,
Yes, I
like,
think you
I've
mean the
heard-
Baby Yoda show.
I do think you mean the Baby Yoda babysitting show.
Yeah, sure. Let's go with the Baby Yoda show.
I hate
The
that name
Mandalorian
so much.
babysitter. They left out part of the title when they published
Yeah.
it.
So, what are people's thoughts on that? I know I really enjoyed it, and
I
I think
enjoyed it.
I think it cemented for me why Dave Filoni should be in charge of
I was just
story
about to say
Don't say
exactly
it.
that.
Don't say it. Don't
You're
you
so
fucking say
right.
it.
You're so right.
because between another TV show, the Clone Wars, plus Mandalorian.
Alex left.
Alex is gone.
Alex, be a good sport.
You can't just take my bit, Alex.
No, I'm not.
That's my bit. I've
I
been
mean,
doing
now
that for
everyone's
years.
gonna take that bit at some point.
That's the community's bit.
The cat is back.
Oh, hey, it's a cat.
Oh,
Okay.
the cat.
Hey,
Speaking of small, cute creatures, Baby Yoda was in that show, and it's great.
God damn you!
I'm the king of segues. No, I'm not. Yeah, that was a really good show. I think Dave Filoni absolutely should be in charge of like all Star Wars storytelling. He's incredible.
See,
Mm.
so
Alex has opinions.
Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead.
No, please.
It's gonna be the same thing. I'm saving it for Star Wars: The Clone Wars season, whatever the fuck it was.
well,
because-
we can go right from Mandalorian up to Clone Wars season 7. So, because they're
I do appreciate seeing more things like Star Wars branch out into more genres other than just the space fantasy.
Yeah, me
Um,
too.
So like
The-
seeing like a spaghetti western in Star Wars
Oh, it was
style
so
is
good.
really entertaining.
It was
I'm
really,
kind of hoping
really
that
good.
they continue to try new things.
Yeah,
I
there's
can't
a
wait
lot
for
of-
season 2.
Same.
Yeah, me too. Me too.
I really appreciate like what T said. I really appreciate them showing off a side that isn't magic space lasers and
Oh, don't get me wrong. I want more magic space lasers. I like the like I want to see a Star Wars heist movie now.
ooh.
That
Well,
Rogue One.
they kind of tried that.
They
It didn't work
tried,
out
but I
so
want to see
well.
one that doesn't end in tragedy and Minnie Bothan's dying.
Oh, well, all right. Yeah.
No,
Okay,
They-
hold
they-
on.
In the
Hold
obtaining
The
of this
Boston,
information.
Boston's dying was Death Star
Hold
2.
on,
Come on.
Hold on. The Bothan's
Whoa!
dying is a Star Wars thing. You can't have a Star Wars film without that.
Rogue One did the heist well.
Yes.
Last Jedi did not.
No.
Also, I felt like Rogue One was a little more spy than heist, which
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
Yeah.
I think Solo was more heist than spy.
Yeah.
or more
Yeah.
heist than.
also, yeah,
I-
Solo wasn't very good either.
I want to see Ocean's 11, but in space.
Ocean's 11 in
That would be
space.
interesting.
Okay. Maybe that heisting that casino that was in The Last Jedi.
Boy, let's not remember any of that
Oh
movie.
my.
How about that?
Dude, are we talking about the movies and the TV segment? Damn, dude.
Yeah, good
Hey,
point.
hey,
Good point.
Alex,
Let's
why
move
don't
on.
you go suck a fat cock real quick?
I will. It'll be great.
All right. Jesus.
It's my
I think
favorite.
the one pseudo issue I had, I guess, it wasn't something that bothered me, was so I waited till after I watched Clone Wars season 7 to watch through Rebels. What a mistake. But having watched The Mandalorian, which comes way after Rebels, right? It concerns me a little bit how far the Mandalorians fell from like what they were in. Even in Rebels, they were still like there. They were still a warrior cult. But then they retained like some of their culture, but then they like seemed like just sewer rats, which is weird.
Yeah,
because
well, I think season 2 is going to address a lot of that because
I
we're
hope
gonna
so, yeah.
like they mentioned the siege of Mandalore, right? And
Yeah.
how
Yeah.
what's his name? I can't remember the actor or the character's name. The Moth,
Din Djarin?
Moff.
whatever. Gus Fring from Breaking Bad, that guy.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
What was his name?
Gideon.
how he Gideon, thank you.
Yes.
He
Yeah.
was like a part of the siege of Mandalore where they basically destroyed the entire culture except for these little bits of it. And I think
So that had to have been after Rebels, then, right?
Yeah, it
Because
was. It was after
plotline-
Rebels.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, yeah.
It was at some. It was. I think is. If I'm remembering correctly, chronologically, it took place sometime between New Hope and or no, not New Hope. It was between Empire and Return of the Jedi. I think.
Oh, okay.
I thought it was after. I thought it was ABY after Battle of Yavin.
Was it?
Well, that would be Empire Strike Back.
Yeah.
That would make
Yeah,
it
okay.
really recently though, because the Mandalorian starts 5 years after the Battle of
Yeah.
Yavin, right?
Empire, yeah.
So that would be within those 5 years that happened. I mean, it's possible, but like that's really recent for that to have happened.
Yeah, but I'm looking forward to season 2 because first of all, what T said and what Sihl agreed with was that like the spaghetti western style, like that's just seeing more of it's gonna be cool.
It's
And
fantastic.
So
apparently
I'm
we're
also
gonna get Ahsoka.
Oh yeah, Ahsoka's gonna be in it. That's gonna be fantastic. Alex doesn't agree.
So I actually so originally when I started watching through it, it was actually okay. So it was after it had already run all the way through and the season had finished. So I had waited until I could watch the entirety all the way through
Until you could binge it.
until I could binge it, as a lot of people do.
Yes.
Right.
So I only got like 4 episodes in before I kind of got bored and stopped watching it for a while. And I had to do a second like watch through to actually get into it.
I don't think that like I can't fault you for that because there were moments where it was slow because it wasn't like action packed the entire way through.
Yeah, I will say the first like 4 episodes there were a lot of dull bits. That's kind of fair. I feel like it really picked up in the end though.
Yeah.
Like the last episode is the last 2 episodes really are just so full of action and interesting story that like it really makes up for it in my opinion.
I think Mandalorian's a different vibe just generally. I mean,
It is, yeah.
It didn't just take the Western like atmosphere. It took how it paced its story. So it's not gonna be action packed. The climax is the gunfight, and I think it was good that they left that to the very end.
For sure.
Because if it was the whole action packed, the theme wouldn't have made sense.
And the character building was real subtle. So season 2 is gonna take that and run with it, which is gonna be nice.
Mm-hmm.
I will say
Was it character building? Or was
Yeah.
it revealing?
Mandalorian
or was it...
changes like subtly.
he does
right?
change subtly, yeah.
Yeah.
And everyone around him
I
changes.
guess, yeah, you could say that.
It's the show don't tell shit, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
I feel like
and
they
it's
did-
also with the Western style, like the hero of the Western rarely ever actually changes. And if he
Mhm.
does, it's very subtle that he does.
I feel
Or
like
he
they did a
dies.
real.
Or he
I
dies.
feel like they did a real good job of revealing who he was, what made him the way he is now.
For sure.
Like seeing the flashbacks of his past, seeing
Why
what
he hates droids.
yeah,
It was
and
great.
how he became a Mandalorian is just
All of the Baby Yoda memes are fantastic, but there's one meme in particular that came from the last episode that is by far my favorite meme from anything Star Wars ever. And it's those 2 stormtroopers at the beginning who kidnapped Baby Yoda.
And just like punch
Somebody,
him.
yeah, and they were punching him. Somebody took a clip of that, but they edited the picture so that their armor instead of being white was orange and maroon, like Red versus Blue.
yes.
That was really funny because that was basically pulled right out of Red versus Blue. Those 2 characters.
Yeah.
It was fantastic.
That's really funny that you bring that up because that's also something that I've started rewatching.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well,
I
new
need-
season's coming
I
soon.
need to be. When?
New
Oh.
season of Red versus Blue?
Yeah,
Whoa,
season.
hold on.
What
So
are they on
this
by
is-
now?
this
It's like
is-
17.
Yeah.
It's
They're-
still
they're dropping
technically
18
related
soon.
to TV, so
They're
because
dropping
it
18
is
soon.
it's still technically related to TV. Did you see that Joel left and is not going to be
Bye,
being
caboose.
back?
I did not know that. No.
Joel is gone
Hmm.
unceremoniously. Rooster Teeth said nothing.
Yeah, I think
Okay.
he left due to like disagreements or something like that, right?
Yeah, something like that.
A caboose.
I haven't heard any of that.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
very
I
recent,
mean,
like in the past.
all
week.
right.
There's not a whole lot going out about it. Like
I'm
it's,
sure something will be said.
Yeah.
Well, they've also by now they have to have already filmed season 18, so he's probably still in it.
Well, can they? Well, I guess they could.
Probably.
I mean, they
What else,
still
they
own
just
the property. So
retcon his
yeah.
existence.
Okay, so
I don't think they're gonna do that.
I don't think they are.
Caboose fucking dies.
I see that.
Honestly, I wouldn't be upset if he does. It's been a long time since they killed one of the main characters.
yeah,
Anyway, let's
They're
not dwell
all-
on Red versus Blue too long. We have other stuff to talk about.
Continuing
do.
the Star Wars trend, we can go to the final season of Clone Wars.
Boy, should we.
Oh.
Wow.
Oh, yes.
Go ahead, Alex. Go ahead. Go
I
ahead.
don't want to.
All right, let's
Come
get
on,
let's get
Alex.
Alex's rant out of the way so we can all just be happy. For
Here, you know what,
once.
Alex, all you.
Thanks, man.
Oh, cool. So we
Fuck.
can all leave for this. Got it.
Oh, yeah, no, everyone leave. Everyone leave. It's just me. Hey, everyone. I like it when people talk about Star Wars, the Clone Wars Season 7, and they're like, man, that season was so good. Those last 4 episodes, though. Did you forget the 8 other episodes that were fucking garbage? Or is that just me? I don't know, man.
Listen, it was fantastic to watch Rex try and fail to defend why Anakin needed to go talk to his wife, and it came across like he and Rex were fucking.
there were the first bit was all right. I like the more lore on clones. That's always welcome. The middle part. Hi.
I'm with you 100%. The first arc they did was okay. It was nice. It was fun. The second arc they did with Trace and whatever the other girl's name is, I can't remember. Does anyone remember her name?
Yeah, exactly, because they're
That
trash.
arc sucked for several reasons. The story was okay. One thing that really bothered me about that arc was how clunky it looked. Like, I saw a bunch of stuff for behind the scenes when, like I talked about earlier, the Ahsoka Maul fight. They mocapped that whole fight. So it was like real movements that they animated over. They clearly did not do that for the like all the hand-to-hand combat stuff Ahsoka was doing, because it looked really clunky and really just not realistic. And I had a huge problem with that. It was really hard to watch.
The first arc was just classic Clone Wars, just another like fill-in, something like that. And a lot of Clone Wars was just filler. But then middle arc just set up the final arc, and that was all it was meant to do.
Basically.
Yeah, but I'm not gonna pretend that like, and this is me being a fucking edgelord. I'm not gonna pretend that like the whole season was good. Like
I don't think the whole season was. I don't think it was.
The last 4 episodes, perfect. That middle arc, it served the only purpose it served was we gotta make Ahsoka a little more rebellious towards the Jedi. It's not like she doesn't have any more reasons for that. It's not like she doesn't. She only has one reason. We gotta give her 2.
I will say I did like that. You good, Kenny?
I'm looking at you guys.
Okay, cool. I will say I did like the backstory of Trace and her sister, because they had like that whole thing about the Jedi like not caring and how Coruscant kind of suffered because of them. And I thought that was an interesting thing, because we've kind of referenced that in the past, especially in Clone Wars, but like we've never really seen it. So it was kind of cool to get a little more information about it.
But that was like that's one redeeming factor.
Yeah,
like,
that was exactly. It was
2
one
moments
redeeming
where it
thing.
was like you got something, and then everything else was like either like you said clunky, or like Alex said, it was just bad.
Yeah,
like it's
for sure.
it's a good way to reinforce the fact that the Jedi are a cult, which like
and they are.
Yeah, like their response was, "Oh, don't worry, they're one with the Force now." And to a normal dude, that's gonna be like, "Well, great, they're still dead."
Does that
Like-
help me?
Yeah.
Like, what the fuck?
I still think for as great as all the characters, well, not all, but most of the characters in the prequel era are. Welcome back, Rob. Rob
you.
dressed up. All right. As good as so many of the characters in the prequel era are, I think most of them, excluding like 2 or 3, were kind of terrible Jedi.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alex disagrees.
No. I no. Like, I'm trying to figure out what else I want to say about it.
Qui-Gon Jinn, best Jedi?
What? Here's the thing. He kind of was, though. He
followed
not the
spirit
best.
and not the letter of the rules.
Yeah. He's not the best Jedi of that era, but he
Sure.
is among them. He's easily top 5, if not top 3.
Partially because he died.
In your opinion, who was the
Partially
best
because he
Jedi?
died.
What's that?
Who was the best Jedi?
I don't know.
In my opinion, well, I think Obi-Wan. I think Obi-Wan is the best Jedi of that era.
I think
He
Yoda
literally
tops him.
had.
I don't think
literally
Yoda
had a
is.
relationship.
It's not
I don't
saying
think
Yoda tops anybody.
Yoda's
that's not
power
what I
top,
meant.
all right?
All right. No, I don't think Yoda is the best Jedi, because I think he was a good Jedi. I think he's easily in that top 5 or 3. But I think that he's not as good of a Jedi as people think he is. because as a Grand Master of the Order, he was completely
yeah.
blind to everything that was going on around him.
But I think a
900
big
years.
issue with that is that, and I think they like mentioned this in some of like the extended whatevers, but because of Palpatine being so close, Yoda was one of his like biggest targets, quote unquote, to make sure he nullified how much he could see. Right?
I don't know if that makes sense to some extent, but at the same time, like he also was a prime example of a Jedi who lives in the future, right?
Yeah.
He was like a seer through and through.
Yeah.
Whereas, in my opinion of Jedi lore, as an ex-KOS guy,
Damn,
I think
got nerfed to hell.
I think that the best version of a Jedi lives in the moment, and I think that that's why Qui-Gon makes that list, because he was in the moment.
Got to be a combo of the two, yeah.
There for sure there does have to be a combo of the two, but I think that it's more important if you're blind to the moment because of living in the future, then you're not in the moment at all.
If we keep going on this topic, I'm going to wind up giving like a college course grade lecture on the unifying versus the living force. So
we'll get around to that sometime.
As much as I would love to do that, we should probably move on.
We should probably move on to a
Let's
different
not
topic.
talk about Dave Filoni. Let's just
You
keep
should save
going.
that
Let's
for your
move on to the
Jedi
next
Academy.
Oh, let's talk about Dave.
Oh, I
Filoni.
do. Kenny, I ran the academy.
Hey, so I really liked the Game of Thrones for being kind of a subversion on genres. You know what else was a subversion on genres? The Boys. Do you guys watch The Boys?
Great segue, dude. Good job.
Are we gonna ignore the fact that he just said he enjoyed them subverting our expectations? But like,
yeah.
All right, Ryan Johnson.
Listen, man, if done well, it's pretty good. I like the twists.
I will say, no, The Boys did a good job of that. The Boys is actually a really good show.
So for someone who knows absolutely nothing about The Boys,
The Boys is I don't know if it's a book series or a comic book series, but it's a dude.
It was a comic book.
It's a dude who hates superhero stuff, and he was like, you know what? I'm writing this, and it's going to be anti-superhero content.
Well,
and the superheroes you have are just normal people who are taking down the superheroes. So it's
superheroes went corporate, down with the bourgeoisie.
Yeah.
Yep.
Basically, imagine if superheroes were real, but the Marvel Cinematic Universe still existed. That's the world, basically.
Yeah. So everything's monetized, everything's for this, that, whatever else. And obviously, as you can imagine, kind of like the New 52 stuff, you have a lot of superheroes that are corrupt in what they do because they're making money off of it.
They're basically corrupt celebrities with ultimate power.
Yep.
Would you say
so the show
power?
In one case, yes.
In one case, yes. So basically, the show is a group of not superpowered people taking down superheroes.
Okay.
And it's very dark. It's very
super
not
dark.
happy.
But so here's the thing: it's dark, but it's not DC stupid dark. It's dark.
It's fun dark.
Exactly. Yeah.
So it's dark, but it's comical.
Yeah.
Yes. Like there's some dark humor that like is actually kind of funny. Like I was laughing during it, but like there's moments where like spoilers. There's a moment when a superhero with like super strength is having the love with her lover, and she crushes his body with her body, and it's funny because damn.
There's also an entire portion where they kill a guy by putting something up his butt.
Yeah.
Alex, would you indeed say, "Damn, she thick"?
Oh, damn, she thick, dude.
All right.
I want my face crushed by.
There are definitely some dark scenes, but the dark humor and like the balance they strike is honestly what matters. And I'm sorry that you had to hear everything you heard from Alex just now, Kenny. But
thank you.
I think
the show's genuinely good. I think like because it was only like 8 episodes, right? It was short and sweet, and I don't think they expected it to do as well as it did. But it was basically a pilot season, not just the first show. Like the entire thing was pilot material, and they built up something that I think they're coming up with season 2 soon, right?
I hope so. Yeah. I really want a season 2. It did an incredible job, and also the cast is really like excellent. I don't think there's. I can't off the top of my head name any like A-listers in the cast, but like they're
Carl
all.
Urban's the only one.
Yeah, he's like the only person in that show who's like a real immediately recognizable name.
Yep.
But everybody in that show is amazing.
Really good.
Oh,
They're
isn't
all-
the Gus Fring? He's in there too.
Is he? I don't remember him.
He's the president of the corporation.
Oh yeah.
He has one scene, and so they're gonna flesh him out in season 2. I hope.
Hopefully, he's an excellent actor.
Yeah.
There's a few. There's one more. There's in the comic books, one of the characters looks like a A-list actor. Just like it was a weird like coincidence that happened. And so when they were joking around like, oh, when it gets its movie, that guy should play that character. They actually gave him a cameo. So he's the father of the main character.
Okay.
Oh.
So it was a really nice little.
Wait,
like,
which main character?
The kid, the first
okay.
main character, the one we see the audience sees through. So it's cool.
Yeah, Kenny, if you want to know what the show's about, just watch like the first 5 minutes, and you'll get a like quick tonal.
You'll get it
gauge.
pretty quickly.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna probably watch the entire season after this.
You should. It's really good.
Yeah, it's good. And I think just general Marvel fans should watch it. Just to give themselves a little more fucking variety than goody two shoes bullshit.
It's not kids
For sure.
content though.
It's not. No, not at all.
I've thrown out.
Do not watch the show with kids.
Don't.
From what it sounds like.
But watch the show. It's good.
So good.
Speaking of stuff that's good, that's the best segue so far, right?
Hey,
Avatar is
about
getting
that.
a live action attempt again.
I thought you
Yeah.
said good news, so things were good.
That
You don't
is
think it's good news? I think it's good news.
I think it's good
I'm
news.
glad that they're trying. I think that it should stay an animated medium.
Okay. I think
Here's why I think it's good
I
news.
understand your hesitation.
I understand the hesitation too. Here's why I think it's good news, Alex and T.
no. I'm happy that someone else is ranting. So continue.
Okay, here's why I think it's good news is because when Shyamalan did it, he ignored the creators of the show. They gave him notes and he didn't do anything with them. That's why it sucks. Now the creators are making the live action show. They're not just a part of it. They're not just giving notes. They are making it. They are an active hand in it. So we are getting a Netflix series of Avatar: The Last Airbender with extended episodes so they can put more content in it. And yes, it's live action, but we're getting more out of it from the same world, from the same creators of that world.
The only concern that I have in all this is the effects. I feel like they might just be on the same level as M. Night Shyamalan's
That's possible.
failure.
No, like CJ has come a long way since then, you know.
It has.
And it's
It
Also,
has.
the
Netflix.
difference between
Netflix
a movie
puts a
budget
budget
and a
in,
TV show budget.
but
But how
Netflix
do you-
pumps money out for these things.
That's
But
true.
how do you animate or CGI effectively someone throwing a fucking brick at someone? Like a solid like boulder tossed across the
Well,
If you watch a concern.
If you watch The Boys, they do it properly. They do it effectively, right? The
Yeah, they
powers
do.
that
They
use,
do stuff like that in the boys all the time.
Oh, I guess that's true.
Yeah.
How
CGI
but
works.
how do you CGI throwing a blast of air without it just looking like the Force?
No, it's gonna look like the
wisps.
Force.
If you've watched like anything from there's these guys on YouTube that do it. They did the portal gun video. They do a bunch of CGI stuff. They do it all the time.
Rocket jump.
I
Okay.
don't remember, but it's something project. I don't know.
It's a
Okay.
it's a kind of like a vapor effect.
Kind of like
I
what
think
Syhl
they'll
has going
manage
on.
Yeah, well, just
Yeah.
Syl's just repping airbenders. He's wearing yellow.
I'm an
He's got
airbender.
smoke.
I am an airbender. This is true.
This
You
gives
have-
me a little bit of hope.
You're
This
the
gives me a
worst
little bit more
airbender.
hope.
I just want to know who they're
Nice.
casting.
I see what
Like,
you did there,
that's-
Alex. I hate you.
Just
Um,
finger gun already,
Please
Alex.
just
Like,
keep, just keep dancing your way off frame.
Ooh.
Don't come back.
Don't never come back.
I want to know
But
who they're casting. That's my biggest concern.
Casting is going to be a big thing.
casting will be
I think
a
they're-
really big thing. I'm
they're
gonna
like
be looking
doubling-
forward to that.
They're doubling down on the ethnic shit, right? Like they're
Make Nina Dobrev.
Japanese people playing
Are
Japanese
they actually?
characters.
Are
Yeah,
they?
I think I heard something like that. Like
Ah, that's cool.
the characters are supposed to be Japanese. are
T's
supposed to be
face.
Japanese.
I feel
That
like
was a
that's
really
just the
good way
Fire
to
Nation.
phrase that, Alex.
I feel like that's
I
just
don't know
people
what
from
the
the Fire
fuck to
Nation.
say.
I feel like
Like-
that's just people from the Fire Nation.
You think?
Yeah, you don't know.
What
It's-
Alex
it's
is saying, they're
fine.
not culturally appropriating it. They're
Yeah,
going
they're
to
not
Thank you.
appropriating it. They are
accurately-
actually
I
going
know,
to
I
get
know.
the correct people to play. it.
I am sheltered in my community. I do need a little help. Yeah.
That's understandable.
But
At least
Quick
you
while you're
acknowledge
ahead,
it.
Alex.
Bro, what the fuck are you talking about?
Oak Creek. Are you kidding me? This is as white as you get.
Oh, okay,
Alright.
hang on. Speaking of TV shows, I want to bring up one that's not new, but I've recently discovered it and I love it so much. And Rob just reminded me of it, just how he's sat right now and how he phrased what he just said. Have you guys ever watched Letterkenny?
No.
Letterkenny is one of the best shows I've ever seen in my life, and you should all watch it immediately.
Isn't that
That's
the
my
one that
real life.
Jason and I were like desperately trying to get you to watch? Or
No,
was it you and I
what?
trying to get Jace to watch it?
I think we were trying to get Jason Leo to watch it.
Yeah, that's right.
It has my name in it. Now I'm interested.
It's a Canadian show about Hicks, Skids, and hockey players in a small Canadian town, and it's the funniest shit I've ever seen.
A couple
It's
of hockey
incredible.
bros rolled up to the fruit stand the other day.
It's so good.
I think I was trying to watch Hulu the other day, and I just kept getting fucking all sorts of advertisements for it.
It's
good.
worth watching. It's so good.
What is it on?
It's on
Hulu?
Hulu. Yeah.
Okay, cool. But since
There are
we
8
just
seasons. Nice.
since we just finished talking about one Netflix series, let's talk about another.
Okay.
The Umbrella Academy.
Oh yeah.
Another
like
comic
that.
book series that was turned into a Netflix series.
Yeah,
It's-
it's also really good.
Good job on the segue, Kenny. I'm gonna point out every segue, just so you know.
Segues are hard.
That
That
kind of
was-
ruins the point of a segue.
Oh, no,
Exactly.
That
It
looked
does.
like Kenny made it look pretty easy.
Yeah, Kenny,
Rob,
stop
why
making
are
us
you
look
so far
professional.
away? Why are you like lean back so much?
Right? He has to make sure he looks comfortable on his bridge.
Yeah. Hey,
He's actually just laying down on the bridge.
Engage.
I'm noticing you don't have any officers on your deck, Commander.
He runs that whole shit by
Right?
himself.
Did you?
Oh,
I run
did you
this
give
shit
some
by
day off?
myself, boy.
Oh. Due to the
Impressive.
corona, we're doing social distancing. So everyone on the bridge has to.
It's the quarantine episode.
Yeah,
It
absolutely.
is the quarantine episode.
But Umbrella Academy.
Yeah.
I haven't finished it. Sad to say, I'm like
You
2
haven't?
episodes away from the end.
Oh.
I think
It's-
like I've
But
had
it's so good.
I feel like I've had a total of at least 10 people tell me to watch it, and I've
It's
said
pretty good.
the same.
It's
I think I've said
good.
the same thing that I always say. Oh yeah, I'll just add it to my list,
Mhm.
I
And
do that a lot too.
and then I proceed to not watch anything that's on my list.
I think it's another fun take on superhero stuff. I think The Boys is better because it's
think-
different. I think Umbrella Academy is kind of, it still fits the mold that
I-
most superhero stuff is taking. It's a little different. I'm not gonna say that it's exactly the same as like
Okay.
MCU shit,
Th- there are
but
two-
it's
I feel like it. I feel like the point of Umbrella Academy is it's taking heroes that no longer have a goal and showing you what happens to them after that point and what
Sure.
happens when they try to come back together
Heroes in
when they have a common
retirement.
goal.
Well, I
Except they're all
think,
like in their 20s
Yep.
and like, what do we do?
Right?
well, not all of them are in their 20s.
Well,
I
yeah.
think
One of them is much younger.
yeah,
Or
much
much
older.
older.
It's not younger. Much
Yeah.
much older.
I will say,
That's how you look at it.
on that character specifically, that show didn't hook me until I think it was in episode 2. That character has a fight scene.
Yeah, the
So-
fight scene music
The
is
fight scene
amazing.
was so
and
good.
the music for the fight scene was the I don't know what the song is called, but the Istanbul song.
Mhm.
Yeah,
the
no, it's literally
Constantinople,
Istanbul, not
not this song.
Constantinople.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's to that song, and it's an amazing fight scene, super dark, and it's really well done. And that moment hooked me. I was like, all right, now I'm all in. I love the show now.
I think when you're
The-
comparing those two TV shows, like they have two different like angles that they're trying to go at it. So the Umbrella Academy, when the comic book series was being written, it was written by I believe Panic at the Disco's lead singer. I forgot.
Brendan Urie?
Yeah, I think so. I was
Were
one
they
of those boy
writing it?
band. Yeah, one of the boy bands.
Gerard
that's
Way.
Like, yeah.
My Chemical
Um,
Romance.
Oh, My Chemical Romance. Thank you.
I was gonna say, Brendan
Also,
Urie
Rob,
doing
your
something artistic?
Enterprise, or no, I'm sorry, that's a
It's
Y
a
wing.
Y-wing.
Is it? Yeah, it keeps fading in and out of existence. Okay, give me a break.
Kenny, thanks for noticing my
So-
dig at Brendan Urie.
Like he wrote the comic book series, and I think he has like a bit where he says like it's kind of like loosely inspired by how he was raised. And then the boys
Oh, I'm
was
so sad for him now.
yeah. Well, I mean,
Right.
if you
He's
kind
the
of like
leader of an emo band.
I mean, that makes sense.
True.
if you like and that quote could be wrong by the way, so like little asterisks there.
Again, 6
Like-
people with computers. None of us fact checking.
No, fuck that.
What
Like if you
is
boil it
fact
down to
checking?
like it's like bland as shit, right? You have like really talented individuals who could change the world with their gifts. And then they have a parental figure who kind of just pushes them into that really fucking hard.
Wait, hold on. 6 talented individuals? I see 6 talented individuals
I see
right
5.
here.
Hmm.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I
we
see
can't-
5.
We can't count you.
No, you can't.
I see maybe 2.
It's just Vooky.
Now I'm curious.
Wait, no, hang on. I want to know who T's 2 are.
Right?
I'd like to know the
Don't
answer
say
here. Go ahead.
Right amongst yourselves and find out.
Oh,
Are we just
Really
pulling
fun.
straws for this at this point? We're just like, all right.
I feel like she's pointing at the 2 above her. Or my bad, not the 2 above her. The 2 at the very top.
See, this
Okay,
makes
but
no
remember,
sense
on my
anymore.
screen, we're
Yeah,
all
it
in
could be
different orders.
completely different.
Yeah. So the 2 at the
True.
top is me.
Well,
and
no,
Rob.
but see, hold on. Kenny just revealed who he thinks the 2 most like talented people are, because he said the 2 on the top of his screen.
So it's your screen. Who's that?
Ah,
Who's on the top of your
funny.
screen, Kenny?
So anyway, if you are a gifted kid with burnout from your high school or college endeavors, you will identify very strongly with the children in the Umbrella Academy as they are now coming into young adulthood and finding out that
Well,
the world is kind of a terrible place and
everyone
they're
except
all
for
alone.
one.
Except for
Everyone
one.
No, they're all.
No, one is still very much was okay.
He,
For most of it, he was still very much of the belief that
they all
everything
have.
is very good with what he was trying to do.
They all come around in a different variation of the sheltered, pushed into the gift light kind of deal, and they all have that kind of arc. It's just different.
We're trying
styles.
very hard to avoid spoilers. But
Yeah, yeah.
conversely,
like-
if you want to see jaded adults who are fighting back against a somewhat dystopian type universe, The Boys is for you. We
Or
like
watch the
both.
news.
We love
See, I love when you turn on the host voice. It's great. Every time.
Every time.
When does she not have that voice?
Games.
Games. I'm
Games.
excited for these games.
Yeah.
They got games.
Specifically, Cyberpunk 2077. I'm excited for that game.
Why?
Yeah, why?
Don't
Hold
say
on.
genitals.
No,
That
Any
is why
an-
I'm excited.
Wow.
any
that-
answer is a good answer.
That's the reason.
Any
All
answer
right,
is a
so
good
we
answer.
all know where T's mind is.
I've had to
Um,
deal with people talk. Alright, whatever.
I
No,
wanna
this
live
is
my
a grave you
fantasies.
dug yourself.
I want to live my fantasies, T.
I
all
play
right?
myself there. It's fine.
No, like I'm just excited for
See,
that.
I think
for
Sill's
that
the only one that caught what Alex just said, which is so sad.
I tried to ignore it as I did majority of what Alex has done on the past 2 years.
That's how we have conversations. We collectively ignore each other and then just wait for our turn to speak. That's
Yeah,
why this is
pretty
a
much.
podcast presentation.
That's how every podcast works.
But anyway, so I don't know. I'm just excited for another RPG from CD Projekt Red.
Me too.
Like-
I've been playing Witcher 3 for the first time recently, and it's a lot of fun. I just got into Gwent in the game, and I'm really disappointed that the app for Gwent is a totally different game.
Yeah, they changed it. The Gwent's more updated and a little
Yeah.
better.
I don't feel like learning 2 games, so I'm not going to bother with the app version. I was just
Well,
hoping to play more of it.
It's not too different, but they changed up the draw system. So
Yeah.
T, I saw your reaction on Sill's mentioning of Gwent.
Oh, I was never good at it, so I just kind of skipped all the Gwent related side quests.
It's a
Yeah.
time sink. It
I-
really is a time sink.
Yeah, I didn't care about it for the first like 3 hours of the game, and then it gives you an option to play someone to pass time during one of the missions, and I was like, yeah, sure, I'll figure it out. So I went through the tutorial, and I lost horribly, and I was like, I'm a sore loser. I'm gonna win every game of Gwent from now on. So now I'm on a mission to get every card and be the best player in Gwent.
yeah, it's a pain.
Vooky disappeared.
Oh, Vooky.
It's all right. He's the last frame anyway. He can come back.
There he is.
There he
He's
is.
alive.
I've,
Don't worry.
uh,
Let's all pause our conversation.
But I don't know.
Vooky.
Like CDPR, I'm. People keep saying, "Oh, they just keep delaying it. They keep delaying it. It's just gonna be one of those games that all the hype's just gonna build up around it, and it's just not gonna be as good." I'm still excited for it, man. Like
They delayed Witcher 3 specifically to make sure it was good, and
Yeah.
as anyone who's played it, the game itself is really good. There's
It's a
not a
lot.
lack of content, and the story's fun.
And we've all seen what they've done with The Witcher. I want to see them do something else with where they've progressed through the Witcher games. And I'm very excited to see what that all entails. And from all the gameplay and all the stuff that I've seen, I'm still excited. And I know people were saying why last year. My stance remains on that topic.
Space God Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. I intentionally have avoided a lot of stuff for that game because last year I looked at everything that was out, which was very little, and I knew nothing about the game, and I want to know nothing about the game. I want to go into it knowing absolutely nothing about what's happening.
Yeah.
That's fair.
I'm not gonna say anything.
I feel like they've done a very good job of keeping anything main story related completely out of it. Like they did a 1-hour demo with like a random side quest that you can do, and that's
but I will
pretty
say,
much it.
For as little information as they've given, I've learned a lot about what the game is.
You know enough to know what you're going into.
Exactly.
You don't know enough to spoil it, and that's the best part. Yeah.
It's incredible that they're doing that, and they're managing to do it very well, which is surprising.
It gives me Shadowrun vibes.
Yeah, no, it's the same. They're both originally tabletops. So
Cyberpunk is a tabletop?
Yep.
Cyberpunk was, yeah.
I did not know that.
It was written by I don't know the exact so you just fucking go for it.
They're actually going to be putting out an expansion for the tabletop. I believe it was like Cyberpunk 2020 or something like that when it originally came out, but now they're going to be doing an expansion for it, and they've been working with the creator, and the creator's been with the team all the way through the development of the game, which I want to get that expansion for Cyberpunk 2077 for the tabletop game because I want people to play that with, even though I haven't played the main game. But
the title you're looking for, Rob, is for the new expansion is Cyberpunk Red.
Thank you, Cyberpunk Red.
Aha, because CD Projekt Red. That makes sense.
Ha.
Yeah.
It's made by Mike Pondsmith.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah.
But all right.
Yeah.
Also Genesis.
Dude, hype.
Okay.
The immersion's going to be the best part, without a doubt.
Moving on to another game that should be coming out soon.
Speaking of tabletop RPGs, Vampire the Masquerade, yeah?
Hell yeah.
I know nothing about this.
This is the part where me and Rob leave and T gets to just talk as much as she wants.
Okay, so
yes.
As someone who has not heard anything about this, T, tell me about it and convince me to buy this game.
Okay, so Vampire the Masquerade is a part of an overarching series referred to as World of Darkness. It is in fact several different RPG systems that are related to each other, linked in depending on the subject matter of their individual focus. So you have the vampires or the masquerade, which is referred to which refers to their keeping their true nature hidden. It's the act of the masquerade. It's a multi-thousand-year con, essentially, to make sure that humans don't know that they exist, so they can continue to do their dark deeds unheeded. There's also werewolves. There's a demon faction. There's magic users that are human. And all of them you can play either separately as like just a game of werewolves or just a game of vampires, or you can play together all in one expanded universe. So the Vampire the Masquerade specifically allows you to play as, of course, a blood-sucking vampire, one of the children of Cain. Your goal can vary. The storyline of Bloodlines specifically focuses on, of the 12 clans, you can choose from a few different ones. You have your Ventru, who are very political. They're very sophisticated. They're your aristocrats and politicians. They focus on controlling the mind, and that's where their gifts lie. And then you have the Nosferatu, who are your more stereotypical, very ugly, very horrifying monsters, but are very fast and very deadly. Or, there's the Malkavians, who get fragments of the future in visions, and it helps drive them insane. And they're also usually all either high or stoners, and you can't tell what they're telling you is they're having an LSD hallucination or they're actually seeing the future.
Phil, I'm so sorry I opened this can of worms up.
Okay, wait, hang on.
It's like listening to an audiobook.
I know, right?
It's good.
She's not even reading from a script.
She's
So,
not.
You're very good at
Um,
this, T. Hang on,
thank
before
you.
you continue, I need to know, do you get to choose which kind you are?
Yes.
Okay, I might play it just to be a stoner vampire.
Okay.
You know,
'Cause that sounds
honestly,
fun.
same.
Yeah, no, you get to choose, and it does change the way that the game plays because in Bloodlines you have to try and uphold the Masquerade. So that means that there are certain points where you are going through the rest of the game, and you have to. If you're a Nosferatu, it's a stealth game now, because you like if people see you, they will automatically figure out that you are not human. But if you're a Ventru, you can walk through a club, you can interact with humans a lot more easily, and then you can sort of seduce them off to the side in order to kill them. So
Club?
it's uh,
Why? Why that?
It's a like a modern.
Oh,
it's
it's in
not a-
modern day?
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I've been imagining this as like Witcher
d-
style the whole
right.
time.
No.
No,
Yeah,
Vampire
actually
the
same.
Masquerade. Okay, Bloodlines is sort of modern. I think there's a little bit of a noir aspect to it. Just from what I've seen, but that could just be the tone of the game rather than the actual setting, because I do think it is a modern setting.
I think it's the
Um,
tone.
Yeah, as for the tabletop, there actually are expansions. You can start a game in the Dark Ages and wind up in modern day, because with the same characters, as long as you don't, get killed.
Because
That's interesting.
immortality.
I don't know a whole lot about
Immortality.
tabletop because the only tabletop I've done is D&D, and I've mostly done it online. But
So I have that little can of worms
Oh, boy.
myself.
oh boy,
I
Oh
swear to fuck.
God.
Dude, I love tabletop RPGs, and I was kind of interested about the fucking. You said it was like what's it called? The Shadow, whatever the hell.
Shadowrun? Or
Shadowrun?
No,
Yeah.
not Shadowrun. Like the Masquerade is part of like this universe. And,
World of Darkness.
yeah. World of Darkness. Are those other like RPG types? Because I've only seen
Mhm.
Vampire Masquerade as.
wait.
What?
You talked about werewolves in this world too, right?
Yes.
Oh my
you got
God.
sold.
White
Can you
Wolf.
be a werewolf instead of a vampire?
I don't. think
Not
so.
in the video game that is coming
I'm
out.
not playing it.
Sadly, because it is Vampire the Masquerade, so it's focused.
From the name.
Where's the werewolf video game? Give me that.
Yeah,
my
you
God.
got
Isn't
one.
that just the
It's just
isn't that just
Skyrim.
the tabletop game?
Yeah, it's called ESO.
Well,
It's called ESO, my guy.
damn it! I
Fair
wanted
enough.
to figure out my question. Are there other tabletop RPGs that allow me to be a werewolf?
I don't know, probably. Fuck.
Not D&D.
Uh,
not
Gotta
5e.
Google it. You gotta Google it.
There's so
Yasta
many
D&D
tabletop.
has
Yeah.
werewolves.
Don't. I love the Fate Weaver. I'm going back. Fate Weaver Alex.
Oh
Do it.
God. Please
Um,
stop.
Do it, man. Hey,
Please stop.
this
I
is
don't wanna be
unrelated.
me.
This is a reference that no one's gonna understand, and Leo's gonna be annoyed about it. But Alex, Cohen's a GM now.
I love it.
It seems
Oh,
Alex has
I
opinions.
thought we were doing
No, no.
references. Sell.
It's good.
Too bad.
No, I really like. Okay, I can't really explain this, but 5e is my standard, right? And from what it appears, Vampire the Masquerade kind of falls along the lines of Call of Cthulhu, where it's more RP focused than it is combat focused.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of intrigue and stuff that you can do in encounters in that style, which I'm interested in. And I have access to a book that a friend of mine owns, so I'm trying to like peek at a few pages. And man, it's like actually staring at the insane scribblings of someone who's like, vampires are real. And
Yeah,
it's like
no,
really
the lore
hard to
books
read.
are a little hard to read. Sometimes it depends on what versions you get. I'll see if I can find a PDF version for you.
Oh, thank you.
Speaking speaking of vampires and werewolves, ESO dropped a new update recently. What do they call it? Greymore?
Greymore.
Yeah.
Has anyone played it yet?
I have not.
I think it's still. Oh no, it just came out, right?
It came out,
still
it's
brand
out,
new.
yeah. Like
last week, yeah.
Yeah, so it's still new.
I'm only
Oh,
level
we're
20.
dating the podcast, guys.
Oh
there's
no.
We already dated the podcast, so.
Yeah, it's already dated.
We literally said the date. Yeah.
But there are
We were
people that have.
hoping
there are people that-
Jace would be here for this segment because
Yeah.
he could like actually talk about
Yeah.
ESO with like some degree of
But
It looks
competency.
interesting.
I'm Jace.
there are
On-
people who have actually already finished Greymore, believe it or not.
That makes sense.
That's
I'm sure
believe it.
some of them are in Sokan.
I'm just not one of them.
Yeah.
Um,
None of us are one of them.
We had a decent. Jason, Leo had and T had a decent discussion about it on the Sokan podcast, and
Mhm.
I wholeheartedly agree with what Leo had to say about it, where it's basically just Skyrim again in ESO, and I'd rather
Is
have
that
new
good?
content.
I mean,
Okay.
I feel like that was kind of the point.
Well, yeah, but
That's-
like, It's the
But is it a good one?
Damn, Skyrim got a 12th
Fair.
release.
Yeah, for real.
Nice.
He tricked us into buying it again.
you son of a
They,
bitch.
hey guys, they just released 2 new consoles. You know what that means? 2 new versions of Skyrim.
Oh God.
Hey,
I
team,
hope-
what did I post in
Oh,
planning chat before we started?
Speaking of the 2 new consoles, PS5 and Xbox Scarlet.
All right.
Is that the official name for it? Have
Yeah.
they released
Yes.
No, it's
No.
Project
X
Scarlet,
Scarlet,
isn't it?
yeah.
Project Scarlet? Okay.
Project
Yeah.
Scarlet, Xbox X?
No,
Whatever.
They're
that's the,
not
Both of
doing
them
well
look
in the
dumb.
naming department.
Both of them look
It's,
dumb.
it's terrible. They
It's
they
awesome.
look dumb. They
So-
look dumb.
Since Microsoft has been doing like a lot of the crossplay stuff, pretty much on all new releases now that have been going on their Microsoft store on the PC, I see no reason to buy an Xbox anymore.
I mean,
There is no reason really.
I mean,
know that
it's
I
like
will.
I mean,
Unless you're someone who like doesn't even want like a PC at all, like you could build yourself a tower that would probably play all these games perfectly fine for like $800-900,
it's
which
still
is which would still be like twice the price of an Xbox, but
But
I
you
don't
can
know,
continuously go forward into the future and upgrade and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
yeah, but it still fits the selling point of consoles, right? It's a family oriented gaming system, right? So it's a affordable I think it's going to be like 300-400, right? It's still cheaper than making a computer or laptop that you need to upgrade as you go through the time. Like you get an Xbox, the new Xbox or the new PlayStation 5, you're set for 5 years minimum, right? If you go for a laptop or a
Good point.
computer, you still have to upgrade that. That's still more money you're gonna have to sink into that.
You don't necessarily have to upgrade
So-
it. It's just nice to.
No,
upgrade
but
it.
if you if you want to keep
There's a certain
go-
point where like you can't play games anymore because your graphics card can't keep up.
so
Okay, I didn't feel like I needed to be
my
attacked
theory
today,
on
but-
this my theory on this is the amount of money that you would save
Buying a
like
console.
PC games for like between Steam sales on Origin, Epic Games, all that stuff. I feel like you would at least be breaking even, if not coming into the positive over the life cycle of consoles with all the steep discounts that happen on these games consistently on the PC ecosystem, which even on PC you can hook up a controller, even if that's your preferred way of playing. You can still play like that if you really want to.
here's the thing. Money aside, there's also an element of knowing what the fuck you're doing.
That is true.
Rob, build me a PC, and then I'll finally play PC games.
Okay,
Yeah,
I can do that for you.
Please do.
Built mine.
There's a new kind of fad coming in, which is interesting to watch. That because PlayStation is starting to do more regular sales, and Xbox is starting to slowly get up with it. So Steam and now Epic Store with their free games every week, like
I think they stopped that though.
Steam does that?
maybe or no Epic.
I think
was
Epic
Epic
did.
was
Epic
doing
did.
I
that
know. I'm pretty sure
for the
Epic did that, yeah.
quarantine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like the point of it, like those types of sales are starting to become more and more popular. So I think console will eventually catch up with a regular winter, summer, etc. sales. It'll be interesting to see it. That's not saying that it's for or against console or that kind of stuff, but it'll be interesting to see in the future what they plan on doing.
I think an interesting thing that, especially when the PS5 released, they released 2 versions of it that are going to come out originally. And so with the PS4, for example, there was the base version, and then there was the PS4 Pro, and then PS4 Slim, I think it was. And so they're going to do the same thing with the PS5, I'm sure. But the PS5 on release had a normal version and then a fully digital version. So it didn't have a disc insert slot. So that was interesting to see, just because that means they're going to like at least encourage the full switch from disc format games and go into that sort of like, it's just install.
I support that. I support that
I support that.
entirely.
One thing that I have noticed though, working in retail now, I have seen that actual disc copies of games are $10 cheaper upon release when in stores from the digital versions.
Really?
Yes.
I think it's
Oh,
also worth noting that there's a significant concern when it comes to digitizing games and stuff like that entirely. And it's the same thing that we've seen sort of with the digitization of books. If you forget your password, you're fucked
That's fair.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
because you have no physical copy to prove that you own the game.
True.
That is fair.
but also,
Well, to be fair,
If
there
your
are
account,
purchase receipts
well,
for digital copies.
sure,
in your
but
email.
if your account gets hacked, there's always going to be that fear, right? Like if your account gets
Mhm.
hacked, if something happens to the servers, servers could be fucked, and like you buy the game, but then it bugs
mean,
out, and
It's technically the same thing with credit cards, right?
yeah,
Same
exactly.
thing with credit cards.
Like that's just going to have to be something that will need to be solved as it.
Look,
As it
man, when
comes out,
PSN
yeah.
got hacked on the PS3, like I was real happy because then they gave me Infamous for free, and that game was awesome. So pros and cons of getting
I-
hacked, right?
so
Yeah.
I'm the definition of a console peasant. My PC can barely run most games, but I have in the background here Xbox One, PS4, my old 360, and I have my yellow Switch Lite.
Oh, hold on, bro. Hold on.
Oh, send me on Nintendo, bro.
I ended up getting this during quarantine.
I got it just to play Animal Crossing.
Oh,
I love
Your green screen is great,
you
man.
have to
That's
put
awesome.
yourself behind.
Hold on, let me just.
just put it on your chest.
There you go. There you go.
There
Of
we
course,
go.
mine is yellow, obviously.
Of
'cause
course, it's your
Of
It
brand.
has
course,
to be.
that's your brand.
On brand.
It's my brand.
My brand. But
Your
no,
special
I
line.
had got it for Animal Crossing, but then I realized I got Animal Crossing, and I've never been a big Animal Crossing person, just because how big of a time sink it is, and it's literally
Yeah.
a daily thing that you have to check up on. I don't
Yeah.
have time for that. I can't turn that into a part of my daily routine.
I basically-
but I
Here's the
can
question
open.
then.
I can't open this up and just shit post on people for days and competitive.
So then here's the thing then. What if you've never been a Animal Crossing fan? What got you to buy this one?
I wanted to jump on the train because I saw
Yeah.
I saw the memes and people were talking about it. I was like,
It's a fun
what?
series. It's just like it is really time consuming. I basically got through like the quote unquote end of this one, because there is sort of like a method, not really a story, but there is a beginning to an end that you can play. And obviously after that quote unquote ending, it goes forever until you decide to stop. But I got to that ending and basically haven't played it since. So
You paid off your mortgage and then you checked
yeah,
out.
no, I didn't pay off my mortgage. That's a different ending. I didn't
Oh.
get there.
Bro, Tom
The-
Nook's gonna come after your fucking.
I know,
recap,
he's coming
bro.
for me.
The
The,
closest
the
I ever
second I
got-
log on again, it's gonna be like a million weeds all over my island, and Tom Nook is gonna be outside my door with a baseball
He's
bat. Like, where you been? Yeah.
the closest I ever got to playing Animal Crossing was Super Smash Brothers.
Okay.
So not close at all.
Not
I
even-
wanted to
not
switch
even-
just to
I
play Fire
mean-
Emblem Three Houses.
I've heard good
I-
things.
I mean, Isabella's in there. Isabella's in there. Villagers in there.
Isabella's and it's the villagers. Yeah.
That's
Where's
the
my
closest I
Tom
ever
Nook
got.
PC? I want to play as Tom Nook. Just throw
He's just
money
gonna
at people.
money bags just
Yeah.
slapping people.
hey, maybe that's gonna be in the DLC.
Oh my
Maybe.
god! What if he brought out a baseball bat? Just go-
That would be awesome, actually. Here's the thing, though. We can't have Tom Nook until we have Waluigi. So
They have Waluigi.
No,
No, they don't.
Yeah, dude,
No, they don't.
he's a support item.
they
That
have
doesn't count.
Glory.
That
Yeah,
doesn't
that
count.
doesn't count.
We want him as a playable character.
I
reaction
wanna
on
play as
Mimity's
Waluigi.
face. Like,
We need
come on.
We need to play Waluigi as a playable character.
We got
Waluigi
the
needs his
Piranha
own
plant,
game.
Alex. We got the Piranha plant, but we didn't get Waluigi.
That's so
Alright.
Yeah,
stupid.
because he's an important, iconic character to the Mario franchise. When was
Hang on,
the
hang on.
game that Waluigi was in?
When's hold on? In what Mario Kart can you play as the Piranha plant, but not Waluigi in? That's right.
That's the
none
most
of
recent
them.
one.
Yeah, but what about Mario
And
Super
you-
Sluggers, huh?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay.
He was in Super Sluggers.
Yeah, both of them were.
Wait,
Who was
was
We're gonna
first?
play him in the.
Yeah,
the
it
tennis
was.
Before
game.
we get
Tell
too
me
far
where in
from
the
it.
lineup Waluigi was. Like, you know, Piranha Plant was
This is
hitting
a problem.
last.
This is a problem
He
now.
was in last.
Okay,
Before
so
we get
moving
too far
on from
from it.
Waluigi, but while
Yeah.
we're on the topic of consoles, let's talk about Microsoft's usual Xbox exclusive and the main reason a lot of people buy Xboxes.
Halo.
We just-
Halo
Oh.
Infinite.
Halo
Oh
I
my
can't
god, my
wait.
fucking arms!
As
Yeah!
as
To
a
all
long
of my
time
fanboys.
Halo fan, I'm gonna be honest. I'm not all that excited about
Really?
Infinite.
As a
Here's-
casual
here's-
Halo fan, I'm indifferent.
That's fair. I was a big Halo fan
Speaking
for a
of
long
Halo,
time. I didn't like 4 very much.
4
It was
was
alright.
all right,
5 looked really interesting, but then
but
I heard it
was
wasn't very good.
garbage.
Be
So-
careful what you
so-
say, Kenny.
so the story was not good. The
Yeah, I've heard
multiplayer
that.
though,
Player
I
was-
enjoyed thoroughly.
Yeah,
Are we talking 5 or 4 right now?
5. Like the multiplayer was good, but the story for
Sorry.
the story for 5 was horrible. So I have very little hope for what they have to offer as a story for Infinite. Very
So
little.
what you're saying is lower your expectations and
That's
then
fair.
be
I-
pleasantly
my
surprised when
expectations
it's
are
good.
lower.
Possibly when it's possibly good.
I mean,
All right,
I hope
So-
it's good.
Hey,
Uh,
there's
Right.
also more
I hope
Halo
it's
news
good.
though. Halo
lost T.
ODST
Uh-oh.
Firefight is going to be coming to
PC.
Master Chief Collection.
Yeah,
Oh yeah.
oh man,
I'm looking forward to that.
man, Vooky
I'm-
with
I'm
that
excited.
quick fix.
That was
I was
quick, Vooky.
waiting.
Good job.
My
He's
my
so
internet
good, eh?
kind of lost its mind, and I wanted to make sure I wasn't becoming pixelated blobs. Sorry, continue.
It's all good.
I hope we
Uh,
don't see the issue that. Well, actually, no. Halo right now is still 343, right? Not Bungie
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah,
Okay,
it
so
is
Bungie's
then-
not on it anymore.
Yeah.
It is 343.
Yeah, props to them, right? They're still keeping the fucking franchise going.
They're doing their best.
Yeah, that's 2 games down the hole. They're still supporting MCC. Man, they're going.
They've been
And
doing
then
they've been doing a great job of supporting MCC, and I do give them props for that.
I mean, campaigns connection still sucks ass, but like, man, it's getting there. It's fucking getting.
And we
It's
have it
getting
on PC.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
Nothing's ever going to be Halo 2. So
Okay, well, all right.
Reach was pretty good. I
Reach
liked
was fantastic,
Yeah.
but it wasn't Halo 2.
Okay, well, all right.
I stand by what I said.
Yeah, I know you
Speaking
do.
of console exclusives, we can flip it to the PlayStation's exclusive at the moment, Spider-Man.
Ooh, yeah.
Spider-Man,
Yeah.
And so with
Spider-Man was a
Spider-Man.
great game. I didn't finish it.
The
And
game
more
was
Miles
great.
content.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
So I don't know, like in the expansions if they covered it, but so when they released the PS5, they had the trailer for Spider-Man Miles Morales. I think is what they called it, literally.
Mhm.
So it's not a new game apparently. It's just an expansion on the remastered Spider-Man game that they're going to release on the PS5.
Interesting.
So it's basically just new DLC.
Yeah,
but
Yeah, I
It
think
makes-
so. Yeah, but like it
Okay.
looked great.
In
I mean,
the
hey, more
Miles.
Miles, I'm all for.
Yeah.
In the
I'm into it.
expansions, Miles is around and Peter starts like mentoring him, or it's
Mhm.
referenced that he's been mentoring him.
Right.
And like and one of the things there's like I think there's like a riot or something that happens again, or like police and villains get like a little roughy. So
It's
Peter's
topical.
like,
Eh.
okay. Spider-Man or Peter's like, hey Miles, stay at home. I'm gonna go. You're small game right now. This is big game. Let me take care of it. And that's like where Miles is at. So I'm kind of happy that he's.
So
You
we're
know, he's
probably
not-
gonna pick up.
He's going to be a big game.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
gonna pick up at
Good.
the end of that probably.
I will say, I part of the I didn't finish the Spider-Man game. I need to get back to it at some point and actually finish it and play the DLCs as well. But my favorite part of the game that I did play was the mission where you play as Miles. That was awesome. It was a lot of fun, and his story, like this game starts like later into Peter's career, so
Yep.
you don't really get all of his origin story stuff, but you get Miles's origin story, and it's so well done.
Mhm.
The great part is
incredible.
they don't like, and this is kind of like what the movies also did. They don't go into the core origin story stuff, right?
Mhm.
Like the movies gloss over a lot of it because you got it in the Tobey Maguire version, right?
And
So
the Andrew
everybody
Garfield
knows,
one.
right? Exactly. And so then the game does the same thing. You pick up like during his like post college area,
Yeah, I think he's been Spider-Man for like 8 years at that point.
right?
No, it's like 5.
5 is it 5? Okay.
It's 5.
He's still established, like everybody knows him, right? So
Yeah.
if you go around the city in the game, you get all these little tidbits. You can actually find Uncle Ben's grave, and he sits there and just like says a couple lines about it, which is real neat. And then you get, I think the greatest part is the missions where you're not Spider-Man, like the MJ missions are still cool, and like it's there, right? And then it ties in cool because you get fleshed out secondary characters, which is something it's a Spider-Man game. I didn't expect to get that.
Yeah, it's pretty nice that they do that. I feel like the villains were also really well fleshed out.
Yes, yeah.
Like Martin Lee, that was a really good villain that kind of came out of nowhere, and that
For
was
sure.
actually really interesting.
Very well done story.
He was kind of like the Purple Man from Jessica Jones, except
Kind of.
yeah.
A little bit. I
Except
see that. I see
same
that comparison.
universe, except slightly different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
New York is a hellscape in the
Oh my god,
MCU.
it really
Yeah.
is.
It looks like we just
It's a hellscape in real life too.
Kenny can confirm.
Kenny is from New York, so he can say that.
And
Oh.
confirm.
All right, I feel like we're probably reaching
We're
the
time,
end.
right? Yeah.
So Yeti.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Oh yeah, that game's coming out.
it's a thing.
Sill's
Well-
got opinions.
I don't
Odin is with us.
I don't care anymore. I lost interest. Assassin's Creed isn't doing it for me anymore.
Still wants actual assassins and Templars.
I want
The
assassins
rest
and
of us
Templars. I don't
are
care about
happy.
the
No.
prehistory.
Where are the
I
assassins?
agree with Sill. They're doing the same thing with Tom Clancy. You know, they're just
What?
slapping the fucking Assassin's Creed and then whatever we want to actually make a game about. But hey, it's the Assassin's Creed franchise. When there's like 2 bits or like 3 bits up that are actually Assassin's Creed, but other than that,
The hidden blades.
Origins.
Okay, wait.
Origins,
It's
I
hidden
was
blades,
not-
but it's on the outside of his arm. You guys notice
Really?
that?
Not very.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
it's not a
Yeah, yeah.
hidden blade.
Oh
This
my
was
God.
like the devs actually talked about it or something. But the hidden blade is on this portion of his forearm as opposed to like where it normally is.
Okay.
And it's so odd because in the trailer you just see him punch someone, but then the knife comes out the side.
Here's
and
the
it-
thing that bugs me about the new games as well, and this is the main reason I haven't played them, is every time I try to look up information about them, I don't know what the fuck is going on. Like the trailer for Origins came out and I was like, how is this an Assassin's Creed game? I don't get it.
because
And then the same thing happened with Odyssey, and I was like, I don't understand how this is an Assassin's Creed game. If you'd showed me this as just its own game, I would have absolutely played both of those games. But as an Assassin's Creed game, I have no interest in either of them.
Which Assassin's Creed did you stop playing at?
Syndicate was the last one I played. That was the last one before Origins, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that was the last. I played every single
Uh,
game up to that.
Yeah, I think so.
yeah, the one before Syndicate
sure.
was the French one, which was
Unity.
I forgot the name. Yeah, Unity.
Unity
The one
was the
before
last
that one was the
Black Flag.
no, not Black Flag.
No,
it was
there was one
Rogue.
The Russian one.
No,
Oh,
it was not the
yeah.
Russian one. It was
What?
the pirate one. Not
That's
Black
it
Flag.
wasn't.
That's
It wasn't
Black
Black Flag. It wasn't Black Flag. Black Flag, and then it was the You're a Templar now,
Rogue.
and then it was Rogue, and then it was
Wasn't that a side game though? That wasn't like a main
I mean,
game.
it was a
was-
full title, but yeah, it was kind of a
yeah.
side game. They didn't really
Yeah.
give it a lot of love, and it's actually a
Yeah.
really good game.
It was.
Yeah, it's really nice. They have a lot of really cool like mechanics that work really well.
Yeah. It was
and
very
then,
interesting. What was the Russian one? There was a Russian one?
There was not a Russian one.
There was a
I
side
thought the
story
dude
game.
was Russian.
No, he's
there's
Scottish in Rogue.
Oh, okay.
Or
There's
Irish, I don't remember.
there's a Shay Cormac. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
There's a bunch of other assassins that are referenced.
Where did I
There's
get
one
Russians
in Russia. There's one in Japan. There's one in.
Syndicate has a Russian in it, I'm pretty sure.
Mm.
Because
See, that's-
Syndicate,
that's another
There's a
thing. That's
mobile
another
game.
thing.
The mobile game
There-
where you play as a Chinese
There is that one.
Yeah, yeah.
assassin.
Why that's another thing I don't like is they're going back in time to go into these specific eras, but like there's so many other eras we care more about that I want to see. Like where's
would
the
love to
samurai
see-
assassin?
yeah.
I want that.
Well, so
Assassin's
there
Creed
were-
Chronicles is set in Russia.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
I didn't.
okay.
I,
There were like
That's-
two
that's a
mini
side
games.
game.
There
Yeah.
was like there was one in I think there was one in India that was a side game, like a true side game, and then there's one in America that was also a side game, but it was in like Louisiana, I want to say.
interesting.
There was
Gotta get that Wild West.
it had a.
I
it
do
was
want a
taking
Wild
place
West
during
one. That'd be great.
the Time of the Revolution, I think, and you played as a slave who was trying. And they had a really interesting, stealth mechanic. So you had 3 different get-ups. You had an assassin's get-up, you had a slave get-up, and you had a fair lady get-up because she was half. So you in order to approach different missions, you could choose which outfit you wear, and it would give you different benefits. So if you were in the fine ladies outfit, you wouldn't be as mobile, you wouldn't be carrying as many weapons, but you could move around the mansion if it was on a mansion way better and easier without any conflict. And then if you went in the assassin's garb, obviously you have all your weapons, and then you can but like if someone sees you, oh shit, that's a person with a lot of weapons on them, you know? It was
That's
cool. It was a cool concept.
I want that series to end, frankly. I want it to end, and I want it to end with a game that's set in the modern time.
Wait, hold on.
Probably.
That'd be nice.
I
Probably
want to
should
look
end.
up how many Assassin's Creed games
Too
there
many.
are.
Too many.
Too
It's
many.
a lot. It's like the Fast and Furious franchise at this point.
Basically, it's the Fast and Furious of the gaming franchise.
We're making a new Assassin's
History.
Creed game. Hey,
There
just
are
look.
11 Assassin's Creed games.
I honestly would have said
Main
more.
games or side games included? Because I feel like that's a
I feel like that's
small
just
number.
AAA titles.
Yeah.
11 main games, 17 spin-off games. What?
That's too many.
There's a lot of
Oh,
Assassin's
28
Creed.
games total?
That's
That series needs to
Too
end.
many.
No,
That's not counting novels. There's novels too.
Oh my
It's
God.
time to
That's
stop.
okay,
There's
so-
a movie.
Okay, so the
Oh, yeah, the
novels are
movie.
actually
Ugh.
good.
There's
There's
I've
a
read
two
the
movie.
There's an
novels.
animated one,
There
and
was-
then there's a
It had
The
Michael
animated movie
Fassbender
was
in it.
alright. That was the Ezio one, right?
yeah.
That was
I
pretty
haven't
good.
watched
The live
that.
action sucked.
The live
I,
action was
I
bad.
will note
Was
novels are great. The novels are
Haven't read any of them.
actually very good.
was the live action Altair or
No,
it
it wasn't
was-
anybody.
It was
It was completely
yeah.
separate.
It was
yeah,
a completely.
not
It was about the Spanish Inquisition, which was kind of interesting. But like,
good.
And you had
Yeah,
Michael
but it was-
Fassbender was your like Desmond character.
Mhm.
it was interesting in the world. It just wasn't well done.
It just wasn't a good movie. Yeah.
You cut off your ring finger with that, so you can use your hidden blade.
Yep.
That's a piece of lore that we just came up with right now.
What?
No, actually, that was
That
Altair.
was
Oh
Altair.
no, you're right. Yeah,
That
yeah,
was
yeah,
the
yeah.
first game.
I remember that now.
They
Why
stopped
do I
doing
not
that in the
remember
second
this?
game though.
Yeah, because it was.
Stop
weird.
doing
Wait,
it a
to
long
use
time
the
ago.
hidden blade, you cut off part of your
Yeah,
ring
in the
So,
first one
yeah.
because it came out through that spot. So
Yeah.
like it was like a sacrifice you had to make in order to be an assassin.
Oh,
It was
never
mostly
knew that.
symbolic.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never knew that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's why if in the second game, like when you first become an official assassin, they like talk about cutting his finger off, and he's like willing to do it, and then they're like, no, we're just kidding, we don't do that anymore.
We made the design a little bit better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they
yeah,
upgraded it.
We changed it so it doesn't go
Alright.
through your fucking hand.
We're gonna move on to
Seems like a
new
design
stuff.
feature
to
we
other
should
stuff.
focus on.
Other stuff.
Another segment.
All right, we're back, and people are wearing masks. I'm not.
This whole
Social
podcast
distancing.
is social
Social
distancing.
distancing. I fucked that up so hard, but
you
that's
for-
okay. It's still content.
It's technically content.
Only
Thank you for that.
technically.
Please
Only
remember to
technically.
wear masks when you go outside. Keep a distance of 6 feet between you and any other person. Use hand sanitizer and wash your hands regularly, preferably the latter rather than the former. It is still better for you. If you have had the coronavirus, please continue to wear your mask because it's actually better for people who have had the virus to wear masks than the people who haven't been infected.
All right.
If you do both, however, you're down to a 1% chance to transmit the virus.
I can't.
Yay! Thanks, T. That was
And
a good.
he was
PSA.
not reading that off of the CDC's website.
I
He
was not, but
It's all memorized.
I did at
Okay.
some point, I'm sure.
I'm just gonna T from now on. I'm just gonna assume when we get to the next season of the podcast that you're just gonna memorize the whole script. So I'm not even gonna share it with you.
Oh, well, I have to see it first to memorize it. Come on, man.
No, you
Nah,
don't.
you got it. You'll pull it out of your ass.
You
It'll be
got
fine.
it.
You'll hit me with that PowerPoint karaoke. Give it to me at the time we start recording. No prep time.
Yeah, exactly. Hey, speaking of the podcast, by the time this comes out, that'll be like a month away that the new season comes out.
Yeah, it's
roughly.
our third season.
Looking forward to that, Mateo.
Yeah.
How has been the podcast? Like from so we have Sihl. Give me a second.
How has been the
Give me a
podcast?
second. I'm trying to word the fucking question.
Are you
alright?
trying to
Fucking
English
good.
right now?
Yeah. So like
Try again, bud.
English is
we
hard.
have people who have worked on the podcast before, and we have people who are a part of like the film industry that have worked on it, like Sihl over here. But like, correct me if I'm wrong, you don't really have a lot of experience with recording film and other podcast like stuff, right?
What is your question?
I'm
Who are
getting
you
I'm
asking
getting-
this
question?
I'm getting this to fucking Tay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, Tay.
All right. So yeah, no, I've done like little bits and things here and there, mostly for like school projects and stuff, right? Like I had to do like a recording of an audio clip for one thing, or I did a voiceover for some other project. But doing this podcast has been the first time that I've been in a published medium in any capacity, and it's been really fun. It took me a little bit to get my footing, especially I think working as I try to keep more of a moderator stance rather than like giving my own opinions a lot of the time. I still voice my own opinions. If you've listened to the podcast, you know that I do occasionally chime in. But honestly, it's been really fun and a really good experience to work on.
Cool. Cool.
And that's all thanks to Sihl.
This
Hey,
is
can I
only
join
hot
media
roll
team?
by Sihl.
Hey, join media team. Help us make
Yeah.
the
Hey,
podcast
we
happen.
said the thing. Can we get paid now?
Be active in the media team.
Getting
Please
paid.
Join the
pay
media
me.
team.
That's the bonus.
I don't get paid. I'm getting paid at exclusive access to the archives.
Yeah. We are working on something new in the media team too, which I'm not going to talk too much about because it's not going to happen soon, and I don't want to hype people up for something that isn't ready. But we are going to have a pilot for a new series coming out, hopefully by the end of summer. So
Don't
maybe
give a
late
date to
August,
it.
early September.
Don't give a date.
That's a
to
good
it.
point. That's a good
Don't give
point.
a
I don't
rough
know. I
date
don't
to
know.
it.
I don't know when it's going to come out exactly. When it's done, it comes out, and you guys will see it.
We've learned about dates before, so let's not
Yeah,
date
you're right.
things.
You're right. It'll come out when it comes out, and you'll see it. It's something totally new though, and it's something we haven't done before in a couple of ways. So it's interesting, and I hope people like it.
I'm excited.
You should be. T's gonna be on it.
Okay. Well, now we're getting more information than what we should be getting.
If you like my
it's
voice
just the
and or
next
my
season.
face,
It
just
literally
the
all
next
he
season
said
of the
is T's
podcast.
gonna be on it, and it's not gonna be like anything else.
Well, what if we
well.
cut her? What if she doesn't want to be on it?
Hold on.
Then we made a promise.
Hold on. First of all, they're probably not going to cut her. She's not you.
Probably not. Listen. Wow.
ooh,
Damn, Kenny.
Man,
Wow.
this basement feeling colder by the moment.
Oh man. All right, moving on from that.
If you
Jesus
can.
Christ.
How's the quarantine treating you guys?
I already lived my life in solitude. Nothing
Oh.
has changed.
I'm working less, which is not great.
I'm working a lot more.
I'm not
Good for you,
working
man.
at all. So interesting fact. My store reopened this week.
Oof.
I wasn't scheduled to work this week or next week. I'm still getting paid.
Nice.
All right.
Are they reducing staff members at the store for the time being, or
Yeah, they're reducing the number of people present in the store. Yeah.
okay? Because I remember you were working overnights, weren't you?
Yeah. There's no overnights at all right now. Daytime staffs. There's like maybe 5 per department at a given time. And there's 2 whole days where the store is just flat out closed.
Okay.
Speaking of film industry stuff that Alex was talking about, that's one thing that really sucks about this quarantine is that we can't film anything at all. So that's
filming.
really rough.
Especially
I was supposed
being,
to. What's up?
especially being a freelancer.
Yeah, I bet that must be rough. I was supposed to line produce for a project a couple of months ago, and then quarantine hit like right on time for that to completely die. So that sucked.
All the normal extra income I would get from all the summer concerts, all the summer festivals, all the weddings that were scheduled before, all those are now out the window.
Is
It's
it
rough.
worse to have
Out
it
the
cut
airlock.
off mid like recordings? And this, I guess, it doesn't apply as much to the freelance, I suppose. But like, if you were mid production, right, would that be worse, or is it better to have stopped before you started production?
That's a
I
good
feel
question.
like-
Go ahead, Kenny.
I feel like it would be worse if it cuts off mid-production, because that's a budget that's going to waste at that point.
Exactly. Yes, the budget is going to waste, and depending on exactly how you did the first portion, if you've already started filming, especially, there is a chance that you will have to refilm the stuff you've already done.
Yeah.
So that's really, really rough.
It's
Higher budget projects like Hollywood stuff, that's not really a big deal. They can probably not refilm any of that stuff and come back to it because they have super solid contracts and they have the budget to make the new shit look like it matches the old shit, so it's not a big deal. But for lower budget stuff like what I do, if we were mid-production on something, we'd be screwed. We'd have to start the whole thing over, and it would be a lot of money gone to waste.
Plus, like all the higher budget things, you have a makeup team, you have hairstylists, you have all these costume people who are able to keep that
rented equipment.
continuity with.
Oh yeah.
But if you were already done with filming, I would assume it's a little easier at that
Oh,
point.
if you were done with filming, I mean,
Just less affected by the quarantine in general, right?
Yeah.
Because everything post-production can be done from home for the most part, right?
Very true. Yeah.
depending on the rigs that the editors would have at home, yes.
Right.
Because like a lot of those, at least as far as my knowledge goes, which I've seen a few different ways that people will end up doing like CGI and a lot of that editing, and some of those rigs that they use will actually use what's the technical term for it, but they'll actually have multiple computers in different, just like, I wish I could have a better way of explaining this, but they're actually having multiple computers rendering out what is going on instead of just the single machine.
Yeah,
that is.
I will say actually that exact thing happened to me. Like we were filming something right before quarantine started, and we managed to finish production like I think a couple of weeks before the quarantines hit. But then we had to finish post-production while in quarantine, so we were working completely remotely with our editors, and it was still hard. It was a lot harder to do it that way, but still possible at least.
On the topic of nodding, this has been weird because college, that's semester was cut short.
How many of y'all are in college right now?
I recently started college after the started.
Come see, come saw from T, right?
Okay, so how has that affected your school?
Sucks.
Oh, the University of Alabama will be reopening in the fall. At least the athletics will be.
Of course the athletics will be. That's where they make all their money.
Of course.
But if you're an online student, you'll also get the student discount now if you want to go attend those events.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm on medical leave, so that's why I'm like.
My very tech-forward film school has been having so much trouble with online schooling, which is such a shame. But it's really hard.
Is it not the weirdest feeling taking like a midterm or any sort of exam like from your home, and you're just like, this feels odd.
Like, that's like the feeling of it is the worst thing because like it doesn't feel real. So like it's hard to get motivated to actually do stuff.
Right, when you're in the school mode, you know what you have to do, the homework, the test, study, whatever, and then you're sitting at your home and you're just like, this is I'm at home, I'm in my relaxation moment. Like,
yeah, for sure. And I don't know how it translates to other types of schooling, but in film school at least, like a lot of the stuff we work on is filming stuff. So when we're stuck at home and can't do that, it feels even less real. It's like boring class stuff that we don't
it's all theory.
care about.
No
it's all theory. Yeah, exactly.
So then I guess the question is was that the hardest part of adjusting from in-person schooling to online schooling for you guys that are in school right now?
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, because like that ties into how well you learn, right? Like as much as I hated going to lecture sometimes, like you go there and you actually like you're sitting there, you have to at least somewhat pay attention. I mean, you don't have to, but if you do somewhat pay attention, you grasp things, as it goes on through the lecture. And then you go back home and you're like, all right, let me do the homework, blah, blah, blah. But as soon as you lose that, like the environment you're in, as soon as that changes, as soon as it doesn't feel like school anymore, you lose the motivation to learn it as like properly, I suppose. And so like, I feel like this semester, everything that I learned this semester, I retained it for the sake of semester. And then only the basics do I like really know still. Whereas in past semesters, it stays with me. And then I
agree with that. I agree with that 100%. Like I personally learn by doing. Like I can't sit through a lecture and just learn what I need to learn. I need to do stuff to figure it out. and not being able to do stuff, I'm barely learning anything right now.
For me, it absolutely depends on
fair.
on the instructor.
That's also
because
true.
I can self-teach a lot of the time. Like, I'll figure it out somehow or another. There was one math class that I had because I did move on already. So I started college in like the 10th grade, right? Or sorry, in the 11th grade. And that's probably part of why I wound up having to go on medical leave, is because I way overdid it. But there was one math professor I had who like started out the class by telling us that if we didn't do well in his class, we were all going to drop out of college and like wind up working at a McDonald's.
Okay.
That was like day one.
Oh,
This is
Wow.
a room
Okay.
full of
That's
11th
horrible.
graders. This is a room full of 11th graders taking algebra at a college level. And he told us that we should remember this from calculus, which none of us had taken because we took this class to get out of taking calculus. And no one, like, the average score on the first test was like a 66.
I don't think your
Oh.
teacher knew what the difference between algebra and calculus is.
It was
I'm gonna
it was
say something
interesting.
controversial. Math is stupid.
It is. So yeah, I got to the point where I went to class every day because I still had to for like attendance and stuff because I was technically still a high schooler and that still counted against me. Also, there was an attendance portion of the grade. So I went and then I would just put my headphones in and I would pay attention long enough to see what chapter we were on and what the homework was. And then I would open the textbook and I just worked from the textbook the entire time I was in the room.
My school actually, even though it's a college, it actually does grade attendance, which I personally like because I went to community college for a bit and I had zero motivation to go to class. So the fact that they actually
Same.
count attendance is helpful for me personally. Yeah, we've all had shitty teachers. I think I took algebra, geometry, and trigonometry and statistics in high school. 4 years of math. I have used zero of it since I finished high school.
But hey,
None.
man, what if you have to?
So I will say, now working in retail and now even just starting to get into more management positions and roles, I feel like the only useful class that I have ever taken math related has been statistics.
That's fair. That's fair.
Statistics is pretty
Statistics is
important.
kind of
Statistics
useful.
is useful in a lot of areas. I've only had 3 years of math since I started high school. Even now, still don't take any sort of math. And calculus, pre-calc, trig, algebra. The only thing that I use now is algebra, statistics. That's literally it.
To be fair, if you're like gonna be an engineer or something, sure.
Well,
But
yeah. Yeah.
most people
like
aren't doing that. So
geometry. Yeah, like if you're an engineer, you're going to need like geometry and trig and stuff. But like,
yeah.
literally any other profession, algebra is really all you really need.
Yeah, I will say though something for math, which is shocking that I would say anything in favor of math because I hated it. It's not so much a practical skills so much that you learn because like the algebra statistics you're probably good to go, but it is a form of exercising your brain to consider different kinds of problems. So kind of like Sudoku or word search puzzles or things like that, or any of the other random stuff they made us do in school. But
Sudoku.
specifically to try Sudoku. Yeah, all right, whatever. I had to get at least one word wrong. We all know how this goes. But it's like
Hey, can you
logic
pronounce
puzzles.
Ricky Gervais for me?
The way I did before correctly.
Either way is fine. No,
Right.
sorry, continue.
Yeah. So the but yeah, no, so it's specifically to make it so your brain has to jump through the loops because it makes it so that you're able to more quickly react to different problems and find different ways around them. It's just a brain exercise. Shit's fucked. Sometimes your shit gets fucked, but it's okay.
Just keep pushing through it.
It's technically content of life.
Shit's fucked, so
Rob's
stay
done,
fucked
Rob's
that shit. Rob's gone.
I was like, all right.
Rob's like the next person who says it. Oh, I'm gone.
Well, That's his technically content.
Oh God.
All right.
God.
Bye, Rob.
That's good. That's good.
Nice chain wallet, Rob.
There
Man.
he goes off into the bowels of the Star Destroyer.
Step off.
He's gonna go
You think
destroy a
he's
planet.
gonna try to find his crew?
Oh, he's back.
Oh, hey, Rob, did you find your crew?
What's up?
Did you find your
Do you
crew?
find your crew?
Oh, they're on the lower decks right now, waiting for this to finish.
Did you blow up Alderaan?
Oh,
What's up?
Did you blow up Alderaan?
We don't talk about that.
What
That's
all
we're gonna
bad.
take
That's
that as
bad.
a yes.
That's bad PR for us, man.
So we're gonna take that as a yes.
I can neither confirm nor deny these statements.
Not my director. Yeah.
That's fake news.
All I can confirm is long live the Empire.
All right. So we're wrapping things up. You guys have any final comments?
Man.
Thanks for keeping me on.
Thanks for having me.
You're welcome.
Same.
Thanks for being here.
If you want to see more,
You're welcome.
please let Sihl know that you like me, and I'll maybe return.
He won't.
Shut up, Alex.
Wow.
You're just like confirming our thought of kicking you out.
The members of this video cast will return in Sokan Infinity War.
Nice, dude.
Good one. Oh boy.
No, it feels
All right.
too good, Mr. Sihl.
That was perfect.
What the?
I don't like that because that
Except
makes Alex
no one would be
Spider-Man.
sad, Alex.
Yeah.
That's right. I'm Spider-Man. bitch.
Alex is Mantis.
Wait.
No, what?
Alex's mantis.
She's useful. What the fuck?
Wait. So if he's Spider-Man,
Mhm.
who's Tony in this case?
I guess I am.
just-
Since
I
you
He's
said
just
Sihl.
said
Mr.
It's
Sill.
Mr.
Yeah.
Sill.
Phil.
I'm
Mr.
okay
Sihl.
with that. I'll
Mis-
take that comparison.
Mr. Sill, I don't feel so good.
I don't feel so good.
Who's Rob? Wait, who's Rob? Rob's Captain America.
Yeah, Captain
Cap.
America.
Cap, yeah.
Going off the continuity that is the podcast. Yeah, Rob's Cap.
That makes sense. I feel that.
Peter
Let's
Quill,
Let's do a Civil War.
Peter Quill dies in Infinity War, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Spoilers.
I'm him.
You're Peter Quill? All right. Wait, because he dies? Why?
Yeah, right. That was the
Still
question
think
you
it
asked.
through.
Like, I want to make sure of something. Does Peter Quill die? I just want to make sure it's clear. Okay, good. I'm that guy.
Yeah, I'm him.
Dude, his last line in Infinity War was he just looked at Tony and was like, "Oh man." It was great.
What lord do I
Phil.
serve?
So that's us.
Jesus.
No, that's us.
You know what? That's fair. You are Peter Quill. You're right. What about you guys? T Vooky.
T is.
There's no stupid characters left.
No. You're
Hold on.
Doctor Strange, Vooky.
Yeah, I was about to say that.
Oh, I
Vooky
mean,
is
okay.
Doctor
I'll
Strange.
take that.
And then
We're in the end
T
game now.
is
T's very intent on hearing what you have to
I
say.
had someone.
no.
I had someone
Very
in mind,
curious.
but
Hang on. I'm just waiting
no,
for Alex to say one of the token female characters.
Well,
I
see,
mean,
that's what I'm
there are
thinking.
very few, so your options
There
are
are
very
very
limited.
few.
phew.
Just make sure you pick the best one.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I was gonna say Gamora.
Didn't you see that scene at the end?
See
There was all those
Gamora.
women there. That makes us good.
This
He's
is out of,
better
this
than
is out of
that.
my
Captain
element,
Marvel.
so I cannot give
Captain
anything.
Marvel, yeah.
Don't compare yourself to Captain Marvel.
don't
You're
do
better
that.
than that.
I enjoy her.
You were in the video cast for more screen time than Alex was. Consider that for a moment.
Okay.
T, you're Scarlet Witch.
Okay, I'll accept that.
That's
I
okay.
don't even know who you are.
That's okay.
You
It's
will.
okay. It's okay, Peter.
This was a fruitless exercise, but technically it was content.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Yeah,
I brought it back. It's mine again.
technically.
All right, so we're done here. Thank you, people, for joining. Why am I doing this? Rob, you do this. You're the host.
God
Oh.
damn it. That means I need to step up in my fucking chair. Well, I'm not active in any guilds, but thank you for letting me come back and do this again, Sihl. I'm sure most people most people probably don't know me anymore. I probably disappeared off the fucking
You're
face
nobody.
of the
Who
earth.
cares about you?
But thank you for tuning in for the videocast. If you made it this far, I'd like to give a huge thanks to Sihl, Alex, Kenny, T, and Vooky for showing up for this. This has been awesome seeing a bunch of people get on together for this who may normally not have been able to show up for the normal in-person video cast. So that is very cool.
One huge benefit to doing it online this time.
Very huge benefit. Plus, I get to be on the command deck of a Star Destroyer. So
Yeah, and that's worked out great
fun.
the entire time with zero problems.
It
Absolutely no problems.
absolutely no glitches whatsoever. This has worked out perfectly fine
Without a
with
hitch.
no bugs.
Let's ask the audience. Audience, what do you think?
Shut
they're not
the
bringing up
fuck
anything.
Alex.
They're not saying anything.
T, would you like to tell anyone about any of the guilds that
Yes,
are
okay.
in the community?
So, we figure by the time that you wound up here that you probably know a little bit about what Sokan is all about, or you're probably a member of the community. But in case you
fell
aren't,
asleep. Sorry. Anyway.
But in case you aren't, if you are interested in role-playing in any capacity in Star Wars The Old Republic, we have the Knights of Sokan, which is a Jedi Enclave-based RP. We also have the Lords of Sokan, which is the Sith side and also Imperial military. We have the Eternal Crusade representing the Mandalorian clans, and the 2nd Assault Regiment representing your Republic military RP. Elysium Cartel is our newest addition to the SWTOR lineup, and that is all of our underworld needs. If you want to be a smuggler, a con artist, or just maybe some kind of ne'er-do-well, that is the guild for you. We also expanded out into the Elder Scrolls Online, where we have 3 guilds: the Divine Conclave, the Righteous Defenders of the Divines, the Invictus Imperium, which is vampires and werewolves banding together to take over all of Tamriel and show those mortals how it's really done, and the Shrouded Syndicate, who's there to kind of make a profit along the way, while also being Akaviri anonymous, apparently. Other than that, in WoW, we have the Unbroken Order for the Horde side and Ardent Enclave for the Alliance side. Moving on down the list, we then have Yasta D&D, which is our own homebrew D&D group. We have the Valiant Ascent in Guild Wars 2, and the Dark Ascendants in Final Fantasy XIV. And then if you are interested in Star Trek Online instead of Star Wars, we also have one of those with the Nova Star Task Force. You can check out more about any of these guilds or more information about some of our other general shenanigans on the website www.sokangaming.com. You can also check us out on our Twitter or at blech.
You're
Every
doing
time.
so well. You
That's
are on
so
well.
such a
Honestly,
doing great.
I would believe that last bit. At bleh. I'm
At
going to
bleh.
bleh.com. Yeah.
You can follow us on Twitter
Yeah.
at Sokan Gaming. Find us on YouTube, the Sokan Gaming community, and
Look for more episodes of the podcast on Google Podcasts.
yeah. Check out the Sokan podcast. It's on Google Podcasts and iTunes and YouTube, and generally whatever other app you use, except for SoundCloud, because I don't like SoundCloud.
Wait, y'all are on
Um,
Spotify?
That's very biased.
I don't know if we're on Spotify. I don't think we are anymore.
We will be
We
after
used to
this
be.
episode.
Sure. No, we
If
won't.
if you have any suggestions for us, whether that's just as a community or specifically for the media team, you can hit us up on www.sokangaming.com/sokanmedia, and there's a submission bar on the right-hand side of the page. We would love it to hear from you guys and what you guys thought of this video cast or the podcast in general. You can respond to this video in the comments on the YouTube, the comment section of YouTube. See, I was doing really well when it was my normal spiel, and then I got fancy and started adding shit, and now I'm all over the place. But yes, if you can leave a comment in the shout box on the website, or shoot any of us a DM if you know us personally.
Please do. We'd love to hear from you guys. Also, if you like this and you like the podcast and you like other stuff that we do and you want to help make it happen, please reach out to myself or Vooky or Alex or a bunch of other people. You'll figure out who it is. It's fine. To join the media team and help us make stuff like this possible. Yeah.
Until next time, I've been T.
Nice. Yeah.
You guys nailed that bit. All right.
You want to try that again?
Try that last part.
Until next time, I've been T.
I've been Kenny.
I've been Rob.
And Vooky.
I've been Alex.
And I'm Sihl.
And we'll see you next year.
Stay
Yay.
safe, everybody.
Stay classy, Sokan.
Hooray. Thank you guys so much for watching Technically Content this year. Obviously, this is a little more difficult than it normally is for us because of quarantine and everything going on right now. Obviously, the video is not over. I have one thing I'd like to say to all of our viewers before we finish up here. Sokan generally actively avoids political discussion in our media or within our community, and we have done so for years, and we're going to continue to do so because we want our community to be a safe space for people to simply just play games, enjoy time with their friends, and have fun with their life. So we try to avoid getting involved in certain things. But that said, right now there are a lot of things going on the political and the societal world, and we feel that we should make just a brief statement. We simply want to say to everyone just to please stay safe, healthy, and respectful of each other. Now is not a time for ignorance or hate. Now is the time for understanding and love. All we can ask of our audience and our community is that you respect one another, regardless of who you are or where you come from, what background you have in life. We just ask that you learn to love each other and everyone around you. We all want our world to be a better place for every single person in it. And we here in Sokan, we care about you, and we hope that whatever happens, our world and yours will come out to a brighter tomorrow. Thank you again for watching this year's episode. We hope to see you next year, and please stick with us. We'll have more coming soon.